No, so Baldur's Gate, like, I have a vendetta against that game, and it's my own fault. I know shit about fuck about D&D or any TTRPG. I had no idea that the game is modeled after all of that. And yeah, I was like, everyone's playing this. This looks fun. I made it like 4 hours in, and I'm stuck trying to fight these like siren type creatures that keep luring me over.
I hate that fight. I skipped it this time.
I can't. Yeah. So that was about 4 months ago.
Cool. Well, because what do you play on?
Xbox or PS5.
Oh, okay. So if you're updated to like patch 8 at least for like the game, you have all of these downloadable mods that you can do. I mainly skew towards the appearance mods because I love spending extra time in my character builder and like fleshing them out and all that. But I've started to look at more combat gameplay based mods because I'm like, I have yet to finish a campaign the way that I want. And I need to just get that done. So
yeah,
I installed a polyamory mod so I can force whoever I want to date me. And then I also added, like an instant kill. That's like thousands of points worth of damage that doesn't take any spell slots, nothing. I just poof, and that person just dies. It's great.
You're like, I am the ultimate.
It definitely makes you feel like a god. You're like, I want you to smooch me, and they have to come and smooch you.
What is the meme? Now kiss.
Kiss. Yeah, literally. That's me with my players, and I'm like, now kiss me. That's how I am with my characters. So yeah, that's what I was doing today when I wasn't scrolling TikTok and pissing myself laughing. So last week we talked about, I feel like we're just every week there's going to be a new random ADHD TikTok trend going around that we're going to be like, oh, have you guys seen this one? Because have you seen Ashby? I know you have, Rachel, because we've been trading this shit every day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
If you are not following Ashby, ASHBY, on TikTok, she is doing some of like the most simple, funniest shit. Like that's the thing. It's like that's what's so good about it. I'm like, it's not like she has big budget. It's not like she's going out and doing all this crazy effects work or whatever. I'm like, she put on an orange onesie with a pillow in it, got some fake yellow eyebrows and a mustache. She Loraxed it the fuck up.
She did. She literally in her life, she's like, send me money. I'm just joking.
I'm just joking. Send me your bank account. I'm just joking.
I think.
And so for further context, she didn't start the Hamilton trend of like what's going around, but she was one of the first ones to like really make it take off. And yeah. What a woman.
And the podcast she has linked in her bio, which I'm trying to figure out. I think that it's her sisters. Okay. It actually, I think they've got 3 episodes up right now. And thank you, babe. You didn't have to get me a whole pack. Thank you. I have a White Claw delivery. We're not sponsored, but you could sponsor us.
You could. It's going to get us through this fucking book. That's for sure.
It is. This book is
brought to you by liquor.
White Claw. No,
because Rachel's got White Claws. I've got myself a gimlet with some lemonade to give me a little bit more.
Thank you. Love you. Okay. All right. Welcome to Wine Wednesday, even though this episode's coming out on Friday.
Yeah, it's coming out on Friday. Neither of us are drinking wine, but welcome.
In a wine glass.
Oh, hey. Gotta keep it classy. You got your wine glass. You're not going to be able to see it, but this is it's a Tolkien wine glass. It's got like my J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ashby. Cheers to you, Ashby. You guys
are... Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
You are so fucking funny. And yeah, I cannot wait to see. Most recently, last night, she did Dobby. And I didn't get to tune in, but I've seen clips. And
I was like immediately like, oh, I got to screen record and send it to Megan because she's working on this. I had to read this fucking book instead of watching Ashby. It was giving me such needed positivity that I needed because, incredible. She had 14.5 thousand people in there.
Yeah. I think at this point, we're closer to probably 2 weeks, the 2 week mark that she's joined TikTok, but she's been on TikTok for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And she has blown up. I think she's got over 500K followers now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me back up.
So, yeah.
14,500.
Yeah.
14,500. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
incredible. We love her.
Yeah.
Hope that she sees us. Cheers.
We do. We're gonna tag you. You might not watch it, but we'll tag you.
Don't know if you've read From Blood and Ash, but hey, we're at the last book. How are you doing? On other random, because this is how we're gonna open episodes now.
Yeah.
If you were wondering, we're Rachel and I are finding our groove. We're finding our style and how we want to open these things up and la-di-da-di-da. We're finding that this is just a lot more natural and great because who likes scripted shit? You know? So this past weekend, I went to Fan Expo Boston, and I just need to showcase, I'm not going to showcase my art. My art's for me. Just kidding, I'm going to show you my art. But I do need to show you these 2 stickers I got. So this is one.
So good.
I don't think you're going to be able to say.
Let me make my screen bigger.
But I don't think you can really tell. It says
frozen.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
I love it.
And then this is my favorite, though.
Stop it.
I'm in love with these stickers. I freaking love it.
How appropriate. How fitting for this book.
That is exact. That, yeah, I'm going to have to take a picture of that and put that with like our thumbnail or something because, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would be remiss. Oh, this is my baby. So if anyone doesn't know, or if you're listening to this and not watching it, this is Astarion. I am married, but he is my second husband. Okay. Anyway, moving forward. I had a great time at Fan Expo. It was great. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel, but I needed to show you those stickers because I got so many stickers. So many stickers, so many pins, so many stuff. Because it's avoidance for what we are about to go into today. We are on to beginning the last Flesh and Fire novel. The last From Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire novel that is published to date today, August 3rd, 2025.
Yes.
We are breaking this one up into 3 parts because it's chunky. This one's definitely the thickest of them all. And we wanted to make sure, one, to give it room to breathe. But then also now that I'm like reading back on it and looking at it more, what breathing room does it need? Because you'll find out. And we need to have a disclaimer right out the gate.
We do.
Speaking for myself, I did not like this book. I did not have a good time reading this book. It made me more and more frustrated the farther in we got. So
yeah. It also doesn't help that we rapid fire read this book. I went on pretty much a 48-hour bender with this book.
Yeah, I think it was probably like 4 days. I think I read this in. Yeah.
So I thought that this time around I might feel different. Can confirm I do not.
Yeah, so far it's not looking too great.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to wrap up a story like this.
Mm-hmm.
But also thinking about it, this is only the 4th Flesh and Fire book.
Well,
so
this is the last Flesh and Fire book.
Well, correct. 4th and last.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting looking at it through like 2 different lenses, essentially, right? We have the one lens that's kind of, I feel like what we're more looking at it in as like a long continuation of this entire story we've been following since From Blood and Ash. Or if you read it series like separated completely, this is like the start to end of one succinct story. And I don't know if that would have made me more or less upset with this book. Yeah, had I read Flesh and Fire like as a series itself without scattering, because I feel like for 4 books, this either should have been 2 books or I don't even know what, cut a lot of the meat off of it. Because it's a lot of exposition, a lot of talking through a lot of stuff, and it's important stuff to bring light to and talk about, and it is something that we're for sure going to be bringing up as far as how PTSD comes into play with the story, and what this means, especially for Sarah, knowing where we left her in the last book. But I just wish that it didn't feel like that's all it was.
Yeah, and I feel like when we do part 3, we will have our big kahuna, big ending thoughts, because we're going on a ride, guys.
Sure are. Sure are. So if unless you have any other brief thoughts, so there's a lot to cover, there's a lot of feelings, but is anyone surprised that we have a lot of feelings? Maybe not a lot of feelings, but like we've already talked about that one feeling.
Yeah.
It's mostly frustration, at least speaking for myself. We're not going to try to let that taint your experience. We're going to try to go through this as like joyful as we can, you know? So yeah, as we said, there'll be a 3-parter. We'll have a debrief at the end of the series. But yeah, I think in our attitudes, but also as we go through the story, you will see the shift actively.
Mm-hmm.
Will that be because I'm yelling into my microphone or not? Who can say?
We're gonna start a meter on when is Megan gonna blow her mic out.
Oh my god, yeah, we're just gonna have a little like one of those like thermometers that they fill up for fundraisers. That's gonna be my like anger meter. But no, we can't be a downer yet. I know we've been very down so far. We're back with Ash and Sarah though. So that is really something exciting because it has been probably a month since we've been back with these guys.
Yeah.
So that is exciting. We love that
is.
because we do love Ash and Sarah. And they're back together, which yay! And Sarah has massive PTSD triggers and won't talk to her husband about it. No, I'm bashful. That's Sarah this whole book. Sarah's just like, I'm bashful. I'm sorry. I wish I could remember one of her rhymes that she came up with as the Lorax.
I do.
But she did some sort of
I do.
rhyme.
She said, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. Now tell your mom to get on her knees.
That was one, but there was another one that I saw once. That was him. I don't know. It rhymes with sit. And so he rhymes sit with tit. So so he goes, and show me your. It's great. Anyway, but yeah, Sarah the entire time is Ash being the Lorax saying, I'm bashful. So before we dive into the plot though, announcements. So you may have heard through grapevines and all of that about series we want to cover and what we're hoping to get to. And that grapevine may or may not have been via our own mouths at one point. Don't worry about it. We do want to let all of you know to give anything ourselves a bit of a reprieve from having to do these long series right away. We are going to actually be covering a duology next. So not that we blatantly said it was a hint, but there was a reason that we decided to cover our top 10 possession movies last week. And that's because our next book that we're going to cover is going to be One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. We are going to not the Fisher King.
We're going to Blunder.
Yeah. Man, I have read these books once and I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I am so pumped to read these books.
That is actually the first duology the first, book that you and I really bonded over. Like when I was looking back at the thread for all of our From Blood and Ash commentary, it was that duology that you and I were like, oh my gosh, I love it so much.
Yes, it's so great. It's not dark romance, but it's darker.
It's a gothic, considered like a gothic fantasy. A gothic,
I like that.
Yeah. It's so, oh my god, so good. Rachel Gillig is fucking beast. Absolute beast.
Yeah, I just bought her other book, The Night and the Moth, and I cannot wait to read that as well.
We would love to interview you one day.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Yeah, and I think it's a good lead up into like Halloween time as we get closer to that. I know it's just August, but it's past July 4th, so in my brain it's Halloween time.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, for sure.
Once we pass July 4th, there's no other major holidays. Yeah, Labor Day. Obviously, Labor Day is still important too. But as far as like themed holidays, I should say.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm super excited to cover that, and that's going to be a super awesome time. Yeah, that's kind of the only announcement we really had today. We're low on it. We've been laying low.
We have been laying low.
Festering in our own anger.
Yeah. It's gonna be great, guys. It's gonna be great.
Are you guys super excited now that we have talked for like 15 minutes about how much we're dreading reading this book? We really know how to keep our audience engaged around here. But honestly, most of you have read these books, if not all of you have read these books. You're watching to watch us crash out at this point. So you're going to get what you're not paying money for. So, and with that being said, let's get on started down this last Flesh and Fire book, Born of Blood and Ash. Oh yeah, and by the way, welcome to Blood Books and Binge-Watching.
Ta-da!
Because that's our podcast name. All right. We start with the Asher. So we have a named chapter. So already we're just like,
Yeah.
and we see it's a reflection of Ash almost losing Sarah, and everyone's just kind of in shock that we're all still alive and have had a happily ever after. As you remember, the last book literally ended with them being like all snuggled up and happy together, and we're like, there's a whole last book. What is this about?
Right.
And we're reminded of the quote, the only thing more powerful than the fates is true love. Foreshadowing, perchance.
Yeah.
We open the conversation with Nyktos, and he comments on how quiet everything is for now. Just thinking about how he's going to annihilate Kin after how he treated Ash during his imprisonment. So it's also Ash's POV, which we have not gotten before.
Right. Yeah. He's like reflecting on how Ken told him His Majesty, referring to Colas, offered to give her, Sarah, to me once he tires of her. And that I was like, oh my God. And then Ash just fucking digs his hand straight into Ken's throat.
Hell yeah.
Against the bone chains, which, as we remember, that's a pretty big fucking deal.
Yeah, that's some strong shit. And we know Colas is still hidden, thanks to Nyktos' insight. And we also get the comical flashback to, if we remember, with that massive 5-chapter chunk of straight smut that we got last book. And when Ash threatened Nyktos for interrupting him and Sarah.
Yeah.
Nyktos says, I remember what it's like.
Yeah, he's like, thinking about his mate. And I was like, oh, Nyktos, you do deserve the world out of all of them.
But they can't reminisce forever, so back to business. The people need to see Sarah because a lot has happened, and Ash says he hasn't been able to discuss the depths of what Sarah's ascension means, and he needs to talk with her first before anyone else. So Nyktos, therefore, goes on guard.
Yeah. So how do we feel about this, about Ash being very dominant about, he's like, no, I have to talk to her first before anyone else. I get it. Okay, I get it. It's his wife, right? And she's just gone through a huge physical upheaval.
Right.
I don't know. It just kind of struck me a little bit weird.
Yeah, I think it's, if anything, I feel like it's the wording of it all. For him to specifically say, like, I need to talk to her first. Right. Or instead of being like, I want a moment with her to just debrief before we're overwhelmed by things. I get the motivation. I think it's just the way that he said it and the way it came off, felt a little okay. Dominant, possessive, there's a fine line. I feel like that MMCs have to walk between attractive versus cringy and possessive and negative.
Yeah.
So yeah, right out the gate, we're like, how do we feel about this?
Yeah, because I gotta say, Megan, when you brought up on the last book how it is questionable on what Ash's motives are with Sarah, is he another shade of Colas? I have not been able to get that out of my mind. And now reading this book, I see their relationship in a very different light. I really do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I'm like, it's just so different.
It really is. Yeah. And yeah, it's they definitely have their blatant differences, of course. And this will honestly get brought up in this book. In the book, it is brought up as far as who Colas is similar to and how they're similar, and they kind of talk through that a little bit. I mean, knowing that even JLA is kind of a little bit aware of it. I wish it would make Ash a more compelling or attractive character to me, but if anything, it just sends me in the other direction. But reading through all of this, I have tried so hard to keep just Jamie Fraser in the front of mind, because I feel like someone brought up, I know that there's a ton of discourse about SJM and an Akatar world and how the map is the UK and where the courts fall, who would have what kind of accents. and I think it was like Cassian that had a Scottish accent or something, and I'm like, don't do that to me.
Right.
So
Right.
I have now been associating that because also just like hot redhead, I immediately go for Sam Heughan, like season 1 Jamie. So that's also been kind of like my face claim reading this book, which does not help it, honestly. And I wish it did. I'm like, wow, if even Sam Heughan's face and Scottish accent, where am I from? What the fuck was that? So even if a Scottish accent and a hot redhead can't make me like get past this similarity, that's saying something. Yeah.
Anyways.
But this is chapter 1. Not even. This is like what whatever that's called before chapter 1. So Ash returns to the bed to Sarah, who's sleeping, and just kind of watches her, admiring her features. And as he lays next to her, he picks up on the taste of like a lemon, and she kind of starts to stir, and her knuckles are like clenching the blanket. So obviously she's definitely like anxious, and he starts to sense fear. So Sarah's having a nightmare. And then tapping into the compulsion, he tells her, "Wake up, Lisa."
Yeah.
He wakes her up.
I do have one feeling about this moment because it is described like when he is laying next to her, he's kind of upset. Like it's just, I can't remember the exact wording, but it is described that like he's angry about what she's been through, right? About her being hurt. And so when he's saying like he tastes lemon, and then like she's obviously having a bad dream, I was wondering, I was like, oh, is it because they're heartmates that and being upset is influencing her sleeping?
It could.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they reference it enough coming from like Sarah to the Draken and all of that, so it would only make sense that it works between the two of them with heartmates and stuff.
And that adds a tick mark to me not liking him anymore.
Not that he would be aware of it, but that is so interesting though, because no, like it's like opening up my mind to all this other stuff, like because it is such a big deal that people make about like when he talks to Sarah about how he's like, you were projecting, I could taste your like, you know, taste this fear, taste this, etc.
And then him in this same moment using compulsion on her to wake her up. I don't know. This whole bit just had me feeling very weird feelings.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I mean, all of the context within it is like he does not know what Sarah went through. He does not know the context. He doesn't know if she was abused, how badly she was abused. Like he doesn't know anything. So it's all in his head at this point. And but no, I love connecting the dots of like it's constantly brought up about Sarah projecting, but it's never brought up about him projecting back on her. Wow. Always the woman's responsibility to keep the emotions in check.
Yep.
Okay. I'm liking this.
Real quick, obviously, if you guys have read these books, we're just going to give out our quick content warnings. There is going to be PTSD around unwanted sexual contact, a lot of PTSD. There's also mention of parental loss in here in one of the chapters, and then anxiety also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I hope you don't hear the thunder. It is pouring rain outside right now.
That's fine. I can try and cue some of the. I think it's about to rain. I think we just had lightning, so it might rain over here too.
Hey, I mean, I'm not thinking it's gonna be strong enough to like actually do something, but
oh yeah, I got thunder here too.
Oh, I just heard that. Never mind.
How fitting!
Oh my
Let's
God.
go! You
Let's
guys
go!
ASMR!
Yeah, that's my kind of ASMR.
Yep. All right, chapter 1. Here we go.
Okay, chapter 1. So in Sarah's POV, she pulls herself awake, but we know that she didn't pull herself awake, to find Ash. And she says that her throat feels scratchy as if she'd been screaming. And during an internal recall, and before I get her throat feels scratchy as if she was screaming. Who screams in her dreams really, really loudly? Oh yeah, Bella Swan. Okay. I got her picture staring at me here, so I'm like, she's top of mind. So yeah, she's recalling how like she's got a lot of shit to do. Like they collectively have a lot of shit to do, and should probably stop fucking long enough to actually do something, because that's all they've been doing is just fucking left and right. And listen, sounds
warranted.
Great.
Okay, warranted.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
that being said, yeah, you're kind of a queen now. You got shit to do. And Ash is like running his hand through Sarah's hair and saying how much he loves it, because how could you not? And Sarah blurts out that Colas hated her hair. And we're now gaining insight into the amount of PTSD that we're going to walk through during this book.
Yeah.
Because it is ever present.
It's a lot.
At almost like every chapter, at least. You know. And Ash tilts Sarah's head back and makes her a promise that even though they can't kill Colas right now, he's going to hurt him very badly. And it's like, that'll do.
Yeah. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yep. So Sarah takes in her surroundings and her vision's heightened. And Ash explains that with the ascension, over time, she's going to notice an increase in other things as well. And wow, doesn't that remind us of somebody? New Vamp Bella? And it sucks because that's what I pictured the end of the last From Blood and Ash book, because that's what JLA did. And now we're referencing her here in the other series. And so Ash explains that it can happen over hours or even days. And Sarah asks how long it took for Ash, and his vision was immediate, but the hearing was within several hours. And then it was a few days for the rest, which includes sensing subtle shifts in those around him and the environment, as well as understanding the Draken.
Which is a new for them.
Yeah.
Or for us. I'm sorry. Us as readers, it's new.
Not necessarily, because Poppy could too.
Like, yeah.
Or, well, Poppy with the Wolven, I should say.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, Poppy.
Yeah.
That's what I
Poppy
meant.
with the Wolven. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so first time that this is happening with the Draken, though, for sure.
Right.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And if you were thinking, there's probably a name for that, you got it right, because we love a vocab. So it is time for a lore alert.
Lore alert, chapter 1.
Also, my sister said that we should get lore alert tattoos at some point.
I love that.
I'm like, no, it's going to be the most random 2 words put on my body ever, but okay, sure.
We can start with t-shirt.
There we go. Hell yes. Like one of our OG fans, baby.
Yes.
So this lore alert is about that vocab word that we're learning is telepe. Am I saying that right? I think so.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of telepathy.
Wow.
Would you look at that?
My God.
I gotta rein it in. We're like on chapter fucking 1.
You know
all right,
what?
Megan.
We gave you a warning.
Megan, take us to class.
Wonderful. The telepe is the Draken bond, and all ascended primals, as well as some of the oldest gods, have the ability to mind speak with them. So they're able to sense their moods and be able to hear their thoughts. So it's the notum, as we are familiar with that word. So it's essentially the Draken's version of the notum, and it allows them to transfer their thoughts through the bonded. And the bond is able to be formed between a Draken and a god. So it's rare, but still possible. Ash mentions that Ethos could speak directly with the Draken, so Sarah should be able to eventually as well. So after discussing how long Sarah's abilities could or could not take to evolve, Ash reminds Sarah that there's no one else for him.
Yeah, they just have that quick little like banter back and forth of like, he's like, I can't believe you told me to move on. I think he said something like, you totally would have haunted my ass. And she's like, okay, I might have haunted you, but I would have done it lovingly. And I feel that because same.
I'm haunting people. Sarah shares she now has this cool new party trick where she has a super strong sense of intuition. So she essentially gets answers and knowledge just come to her. What a world. Like literally the definition of a know-it-all. Yeah. And she asks Ash if his father had something similar. And he explains that Ethos possessed the power of Videntia. It's essentially foresight. And finally, deciding that they needed a break from fucking. What? Really? In this world? Ash goes to get them some food. Smoke and shadows appear, and the feeling of an ancient power rolls into the room. So Sarah calls for Ash as darkness envelops her.
Dun, dun, dun.
What?
Did you hear the...
Mother Nature's on our side today, folks. Between last week filming and I had the book opening to the picture of the mirrors. Now we got thunder queuing in for us. Like, what the fuck?
Let's go.
So, and it doesn't help with what we're actually about to just talk about now, too.
I'm gonna be saging my entire house.
Seriously. Chapter 2. Sera wakes up in a chamber of sorts. It's dark, damp, and we are flying blind. The ancient power is felt again, and a faint moaning is heard. Sera sees what she thinks are orbs, or possibly eyes, and the light is now multiplying. So she calls out, and golden embers and light sparks into sconces around what we can now make out as a cavern. So not a chamber, but a cavern. Sera can make out some markings on the walls, circles with vertical lines through them, which is the symbol of death. And guess who? It's the riders are here. This can only be a good sign, right?
Right. Totally.
The one in the middle reaches into its cloak and pulls out a sword with a dull ivory hilt and a bloodstone blade. Okay. I just thought, I know it's not Sera's dagger, but I'm like,
yeah,
an ivory hilt and a bloodstone blade? What? So it gave me pause, but then I remembered where we were at in the timeline. They simply just tell Sera to prove herself. They say, just prove yourself. Sera asks to see Ash, and she is once again told to prove herself worthy of the crown and bearing the weight of life. And the writers are just emphasizing this as Sera tries to figure out what's going on. And this scene pissed me the fuck off. I'm like, Sera, I can't. Like, I want to like her so bad, but I don't know what it is. Like, just certain things that she does, like the scene and like the way that she, I don't know, goes through all of this. And like, I get, first off, like, you're in a mysterious place. You're like, I want my husband here, actually. Like, that would be my first instinct as well. And if they're just like, prove yourself, you have to prove yourself worthy of the crown, you're the primal of life now, I would be like, oh, well, that sucks, but okay. Like,
no, you know, she's firing off. She's like, the part that pissed me off in this scene is prove yourself. And so I did relate with her in a way where she's like, can y'all shut the fuck up?
Doing that because she's just standing there just like, what do I do? And they're just like, prove yourself. And she's like, but I want my husband. It's like, oh my God, bitch.
The whole scene is a fucking shit show.
It really is.
I'm like,
so yeah, one of them who Polymus like throws the sword at her. He's just like, fucking here, and suspends it in midair. And she finally like starts actually listening to them instead of just like doing her own thing. And I'm like, you have the horsemen of like the gods and shit in front of you. Like, the apocalypse. Thank you.
Yes.
Maybe listen to them. Maybe. Like, this is where like FMCs in these fantasy books like grind my gears, because I'm like, okay, listen, I get that like you have the self-esteem, this attitude about you, but like, for the love of fucking God, just listen to the people that are actually older than you for a fucking second. Like
it's like that kid. Listen, Linda, listen.
Literally. Like, it's just so funny. I just feel like I don't know what context it would fit in, but I just thought of the vine of the reporter going up and like interviewing the kid, and he's like, oh, what have you got there? What are you up to today? He's like, wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? That's all I can think of. It's like they're just like trying to tell her what to do. She's like, wouldn't you like, or I don't know. I feel like it fits in there somewhere. Make it fit, whoever's listening. So yeah, the sword's sitting there. She goes over and grabs it and notices that the material is made of bone, or resembles bone. The room is now on fire as well, just in case you were wondering. And it illuminates the sigil markings on the wall, and they look like they're soaked in glowing blood. Creepy.
Exciting.
Yeah. Sera looks up and sees a massive scaled, terrifying creature that she is now supposed to fight with a sword.
Fuck.
Awesome sauce. Great. This scene, Hercules.
100%.
Because let us describe this thing to you. It has the body of a draken, powerful legs and sharp claws. Its chest and torso were broad and muscular, and it had a thick spiked tail. Also had 3 heads, and eyes were a brilliant shade of glowing silver glinting with ether. And there's the fucking picture.
It's the fucking Hydra. It is literally the Hydra.
Yeah.
That's
the first thing I thought of.
I'm all for it. I'm all for that.
They got to draw inspiration from somewhere. We're not knocking that at all.
That thing's fucking terrifying.
I was convinced that thing was going to grow heads, but it didn't. So yeah, the fight scene commences, and Sera's fighting for her life. And the peanut gallery, as you put them,
Mm-hmm.
from the side, just keep shouting out at her like, prove yourself.
Yes, like she now at
That
this
part,
point.
that part would piss me off.
Yes, because now at this point she is fighting. She
Yeah.
is fighting. And they're like,
Yeah.
prove yourself. She's like, what the fuck do you want?
But also the fact that, okay, you have a sword and a monster, they're saying prove yourself, and you look back at them and you're just like, how? What do you want me to do? I don't know. Do what you do best and stab. Sarah, all you do is stab.
Stab.
Go stab. That's all you gotta do. Like, I just got a text back from Mac about my Baldur's Gate playthrough, and she says, who's trying to hit on you, Gale? And I'm just gonna write back to her and be like, yes! Only Gale! The only people that wanted to hit on me were Lae'zel offered herself to me. Lizard. But, so Lae'zel offered herself to me, which I flattered, but not my type. She's too mean to me. Shadowheart told me to get fucked. Arian essentially said it never. And I'm like, so that's great. And then I had to go talk to fucking Gale. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll flirt with you. And he didn't even do nothing. We practiced magic. And I was like, this was a shitty tiefling party. My first playthrough, I got to smash Astarion that night. Anyway, so yeah, she finds its weak spot between the scales, takes out the rightmost head. Wahoo! But alas, it's growing back. So yes, that's when we get further confirmation of that's what's going on. She realizes the middle head is in control and takes it out. As the beast collapses, it transforms into Tavius. That part was cool.
Jarring.
He is convulsing and gagging, and the visual of this scene was so good. And something starts to come out of his mouth, and it's the whip. Sarah beats the ever-loving fuck out of him, and it is so good.
It is.
And one of the riders tells her to once again prove herself. Sarah tells Tavius, he will be no more. I am going to end you. Hell yeah, I'm getting hyped. And right as she's about to annihilate him, she hears Ash's voice saying, do not let this mark you. And that's when I get sad. She realizes this is not her role, and the riders commend her for passing the test. I would have failed the test, because what kind of fucked up mind games where you are presented with your abuser and they essentially don't want you to kill them.
She already killed him though.
Yeah, but not for good. Like to wipe his existence from the face of the planet, not get to rest. I mean, it's great that he's still burning in hell.
But that's the test as her primal of life.
I know, it's just so cliche and I don't like it. I want them to remain the murderous people they are. I almost wish it was flipped and it was that she was supposed to be primal of death and not life. But that's what I want. I want a really good villains. I want the FMC to go dark. If anyone has book recommendations for that, where the FMC goes dark when given the choice, I want to see that.
I'm right there with you. We need some dark, divine, feminine recommendations. Big time. And Carol, if you're listening, we know that you're probably going to recommend a giant ass series. So we need something
max
small.
It's 3 books, maybe 4 in a series. How about that?
That
would be doable.
We do love you, Carol, though.
We'll get around to reading all of it when we retire. So yeah, I want to see that so bad, because in this moment I was just like, yeah, kill him, be evil, do it, because that's been her whole thing. But they have the whole realization, the primal of life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she passes the test though, and they call her the Agna Udex and the Agna Addis, which is the great ruler, the great condemner. And she decides not to condemn Tavius. The riders leave, and she realizes the monster she was slaying was the one inside her.
Yep. Poetic.
My biggest eye roll, I'm sorry. And I wish I could say I'm I'm having this reaction because I already know how the book's gonna end. I was like this reading the book.
I know.
Yeah.
We're holding space for each other.
We really are.
We're holding space for each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, it's cliche. But anyway. Chapter 3. That's right, we're only in chapter 3.
Yep.
A wall of the cavern opens, and Sarah walks through a tunnel. She guides her hand along the wall, making her way through the dark, and eventually sees mountains of fire with winged creatures flying around everywhere.
Nice.
Oh. And these are known as Sekia. Their other names are Shrew, Mir, or Fury. And so, startled, Sera steps back and finds her hand on a Shadowstone railing. And she's back in their bedchambers in the Shadowlands.
Let me see you 1-2 shadow step.
Yeah. Sera finds Ash asleep in their bed, and a gust of wind and Nyktos appears. He's shifted, and he lands on the balcony. So I imagine he's doing his like little crouching moment. Hopefully he summoned some pants so it's not just like dangling in between his legs like that. And whenever it's described that he's just like crouched on a balcony, I'm like, oh, so
your shit's all out.
The sausage and meatballs are just dangling there. Okay.
Yep.
Sera so she gives Nyktos the TLDR on where she was at with the riders, and he shares that Ethos had to do the same. And like, I would imagine so. I would imagine it's a primal of life thing at that point. But also, no one could have prepared them whatsoever.
No.
And you say that, however, they've also been locked away in their rooms fucking each other like rabbits. Right. So no one really had the chance anyway. So Sera asks if he knew that she and Ash were heartmates, and he replies that he had a feeling. Lots of feelings.
Yep.
People just get a lot of feelings around here. She also asks if he remembers what Ethos's abilities of intuition were like. So now we get another lore alert.
Another lore alert!
This one we're gonna just pick apart the Videntia. So Nyktos says that he only knows that Ethos's intuition became stronger as time passed, and Ethos could eventually just look at someone and know all their dirty laundry. Okay, Serial.
Yeah, for real.
And the Videntia could develop sooner in Sera's because the embers have been in her since birth. So she's had longer exposure, I guess.
They've been like marinating.
Yeah. Ethos could essentially just pick up on vibrations, such as like unrest in Elysium, and that would ultimately pull him to something he either needed to see or be told. And this also includes objects. One time, it was a diamond necklace that belonged to Keela, which put Ethos in her favor.
And
like,
yep.
Huh. Okay.
That ultimately set him up to have her help with Satoria's soul because of that.
And Ethos's ego became his personal monster and ultimately his downfall. Sera's monster could actually be what saves her. But she didn't use the monster because she didn't kill Tavius. But it's okay. Just because she didn't kill Tavius, the monster still resides. She would be one of Gaga's little monsters.
Yep.
Chapter 4. As morning approaches, Sera is blasted by a wave of powerful energy, and the temperature in the chamber becomes cool as Ash's eyes fly open, and he is just like prepped and ready, full of ether. So it's probably not good. Sera calls out to him and touches his face because he is now in full primal form, shadow wings and all. It's pretty tense. But what does that lead to? Well, fucking. Obviously. Tries to stop, and Sera implores him to fuck her.
Mm-hmm.
I
left the line out of this with the P word because
God, thank God. The amount of
neither of us are saying that anymore.
I never did. Like, I have never
even just having to read it, I'm like, no, thank you.
Just personally, it's such a turnoff. Like, even more so when Sera says it.
Yeah.
When she's saying it, when she's like, Ash, I want you to fuck my pussy, I'm like, oh, just say fuck me. Just do that.
That reminded me of Jonah Hill in Superbad. Evan, what are you gonna do with this giant bottle of lube?
But it's true. It's so I hate the pussy talk. It's so nasty. So yeah, the pillow talk afterwards involves Sera clarifying that it was not Colas, and then gives Nyktos, or Ash, the TLDR, with the writers and Tavius. So everyone's up to speed now, except for, the whole captivity part. Sera almost cries over how sweet Ash is being, and she says that she doesn't know why she's so emotional.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What an odd thing to say.
And it's so funny because I don't know, I can't honestly remember reading the third book at this point, but I don't remember if I was catching on to all of the hints of her being pregnant in that book. But I get there's plenty, I guess.
Yeah.
this one even more so, but I know that like Kat and Penny who are reading through, they just started the 4th book. So I've been sending them like,
oh God,
I've been sending them the gifts of just like,
dear God,
it's great. Have some fun.
I can't. Yeah, I'll have to get caught up because I can't wait to hear their thoughts on this book.
Yeah, and it's like I was sending the, like, good luck, we can't wait to hear what you think. And they're just like, we know that means about the inevitable crash outs. I'm like, yeah, but not the kind you're probably thinking about. It's not gonna be tears of sadness.
We'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be here. I'm trying to think, by the time that in 3 weeks time, they'll probably be finished with it, no doubt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to
so
watch
hi
that.
guys, whenever you
listen. Sarah's self-doubt creeps in, and she questions how she's supposed to fulfill the role as the primal of life, and shares with Ash that she never desired to be a queen or have a role in power at all. The people-pleasing tendencies begin to rear their ugly head as Sarah continues to share her feelings of not being enough, and Ashley So Ash quickly curbs the negativity as he encourages her instead. And he says, but the truth is, their instinct for self-preservation is what? What are you laughing at? Because I said Ashley.
I'm trying to get myself together. I'm so sorry.
So he encourages her, saying, but the truth is, their instinct for self-preservation is too great. What they say they would do is not what they will do. It's only what they have convinced themselves. So no, you didn't do what any half-decent person would do. You did far more despite the monstrous parts you may have.
I did think that was sweet.
It was.
Sweet.
Ash then asks Sarah what she's going to do about the Chosen. Sarah considers continuing with the rite, but only if the 3rd sons and daughters choose to be ascended. They will have the option to still change their mind up to the point of ascension. Then she changes the conversation by telling Ash that his cock is bigger in primal form. All right.
Can we just the derailment of
insane derailment. She's
like in the last
you're so
minute,
much bigger.
In the last minute, we went from her doubting herself, him hyping her up, then they're talking about politics, and then she's like, your cock is bigger in your primal form.
And then they fuck some more.
Yeah.
And it's like great to read. At this point, it's getting to a point that what's the smut? What's the purpose?
Yeah.
What's the point? And not to say that I love me a book that's just the smut's there for the smut. Love it all day, every day. It's just that has not been the pattern with these books.
You gotta build up to it.
Yeah.
You gotta, anyways.
Especially where we know that they've literally been sequestered the last 2 days, just fucking constantly.
Like we already, so this is, I won't go on a huge tangent, but this is my first frustration with this book, right? Where we're at.
Yeah.
Like you said, we already know. We know that JLA can write smut. We know that she can write good smut, right? We don't need it right now.
Yeah. Doesn't really fit.
No.
So after they're done, we get a quick change of scenery to Sarah in the tub, and she reflects on a part of their earlier discussion about her role as a leader. Her mind quickly drifts to the thought of Colas, and her emotions trigger a tangible change in the air. And she talks herself down, reins in the power, just repeating, I'm not there. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to counter my complaint with, I do think that JLA did a very good job of representing PTSD here, because this entire scene, if you deal with PTSD, this little inner monologue of Sarah's is very, very good.
Very good. I agree. Sarah realizes to destroy Colas, it's going to require using Satori again. All because Ethos's little plan of creating a weapon didn't work.
And now I'm overstimulated from the growing task list already, guys.
Yeah. And so I guess... yeah, that matches up so it's not a spoiler. The spoiler is for Throne of Glass and all of that.
Okay.
It's the fucking Elena of it all.
100%.
That makes me fucking pissed off at this book. Because it was the same shit with Kingdom of Ash. That book is a masterpiece and it's incredible. Elena and that entire storyline.
Oh my God.
Can go to hell.
I know.
Because it's literally just So they did all of that, all of those mistakes that they made, just for you to do the same shit. Because there was no other way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sera finally exits the bathing chamber and does a once-over of herself in the mirror, looking at her hair. But now she also has like some cute little fangs coming in. And she finally gets to notice her eyes. And the iris is still green, but they now appear cracked with silver ether. Cool.
I do have to say it's a badass description, honestly.
Oh yeah, the eye changes and things in these books is very, very cool.
Yeah, just how it's described is like she's like, and they look broken, like with ether. Just thought it was really cool.
So chapter 5, Sera joins Ash in their chamber and questions him on when he was going to mention her eyes. Typical man, he's like, I did. I told you they were beautiful. As they share a meal, Sera questions Ash about the scar on his chin. Colas had ordered him to kill a god, and Ash had refused because it was an undeserved death. Nice. This is Nibarius, Colas's Draken, lashed out in Colas's defense. So Sera shares that the Draken that she met while being held hostage was named Sax and was actually Ethos's bonded Draken, who was forced to bond with Colas after Ethos was killed.
That's really
fucked.
That's really fucked.
Yeah. The conversation moves on to the importance of Sera taking care of herself, especially being a newly ascended primal. And so, like, she's capable of killing another primal, but she will need to be staying on top of, like, feeding to remain at optimal strength. She's also extremely vulnerable to wounds at this stage.
Conflicting to me.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, so you're super duper crazy powerful, but also you get a paper cut.
Yeah, because I was thinking like Bella. I was thinking like her running through the woods and like, you know, scaling that rock wall with the deer and the hunter. That's what.
And I'm sure she could. No, I feel like that she definitely could. She's strong enough to, but it's infantilizing her. It's literally she's a toddler.
I'm like, absolutely.
You're gonna run around like you're indestructible, but you're not. Like,
that's a really
and that's
good way
essentially
to
what
put
Sera
that.
is.
Yeah. That's I like the way you put that.
Yeah, because it's like, granted I don't have kids, but I've been around enough throughout my years that I've come to understand, at least, toddlers, they will run around and run into shit and as if they cannot get hurt.
They are gremlins.
Yeah.
That movie was based on children.
So yeah, she's a toddler. And Sera realizes that there's 2 ways to kill a primal. 1, another primal does it, or 2, death by the one they loved. And she feels the tingling sensation behind her ear again. Colas didn't know Ethos didn't have the rest of his embers, and he also didn't know Ethos still loved him. So the death was unintentional. And this is where I start to get confused, because what do you mean, okay, another primal can kill a primal? What the fuck do you need Sotoria for?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
It's like, okay, cool, there's 2 options. What happened to the first one?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that, like, yes, there has to be the primal of life and death and all of that, but guess who still has embers of primal of death embers? That's right, Nyktos still has those. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just say, oh, we're gonna pull out the embers from Colas, pop them into Nyktos, and then we'll kill Colas. I don't know why this isn't a thing.
Yeah. And this is just the beginning of the very entangled ball of yarn. This is the spark for my fuse that is going to light a little bit further down.
Great.
I will apologize in advance for a side of me that you might see.
Oh boy. I mean, they've seen me angry plenty, so
yeah, it's
getting
coming.
ready for you. Ash shares that after he took down Hanan, he was weakened almost immediately. Sera shares the visions that she had during stasis. She saw the beginning of all creation. The ancients weren't primals, they were the pure essence of the stars. And she recalls the vision of the dragonfire that created the star and how the ancients fell to the lands to the east and west. No one has been to those realms. Only Ethos, Colas, and the Ere know this info, essentially. So, and now Sera. Oh yeah, that reveal, by the way, the Ere are their motherfucking ancients.
Okay. Rate is going up.
And Sera keeps that information to herself. For what reason?
This nice little, a while ago, I was like, I can't remember what episode we were on. I think it was A Light in the Flame. Yes. Because when it's revealed that Holland is an Ere, right?
Yeah.
I'm super fucking interested in them. Like, and which may have been obvious, right? It may have been obvious that they're like, kind of behind some sort of puppet master. These motherfuckers, okay? These motherfuckers, they're fucking, my God, I have to save it. I have to save it because there's more information at the bottom, further down. But I am so fucking livid. I'm so fucking livid. Okay, let's just go.
So Ash questions Sarah about the array, and her intuition prevents her from sharing everything with him, but she does share some interesting lore. Lore alert, by the way.
Lore alert!
About the ancients. Did you think just because this is the last book in the series that there wouldn't be lore to be dropped? Nope.
Can I do this one, Megan?
Go for it.
Okay.
Unleash.
All right. This one has stricken a chord in my soul, so I'm going to take you guys along this one. Okay. So, the ancients. The Ere know about these missing lands that are not separated by time, but instead thick veils of ether. Okay. Fact check real quick. Think about in From Blood and Ash when Poppy is playing with the mist and Castiel is talking about that's how we stay protected is by this magical mist. So continuing on, when the primals defeated the ancients, some of them entered Arcadia. Okay, got it. The ancients in Arcadia went to ground, to stasis. So they're still here. They never left. They're here. They can never wake, and it is why the embers of life and death must always remain to ensure balance. That's why these fucking fates and Ere are all about the fucking balance. This is why Colas is continuing to create the Ascended, because without the balance, the ancients in stasis will rise. In Sarah's vision, she saw them rise and destroy everything. Now, flashback to our From Blood and Ash prophecies, where they will come from the lands of the east and the west, blah, blah, blah. Sarah says that ultimately, if they wake up, they will do so as the Unya and Aram, the ruin and wrath of the once great beginning. So are we talking about fucking Poppy somehow, right? Because if we think I will collect myself and circle back to this, because what the fuck do you mean these fuckers are just, they've planted everything and they're just like, oh, go do our bidding for us. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is also, we know that JLA has made the last From Blood and Ash book 2 books.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Colas and Sarah and Ash are all awake.
Mm-hmm.
I am fully betting that Colas will be dead by the end of that next book, and they are going to have to fight the ancients.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I'm like, 100%. Oh, so you just introduced the biggest bad of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, can only imagine what's going to happen there. Like, if Poppy has to kill Victor. But no, Victor's not an ancient. He's just the first Victor.
Mm-hmm.
So, never mind. She can kill Holland. Fuck that guy. After all of this, fuck Holland. Like, come on. Yeah, no, all of these reveals, especially because we've read the From Blood and Ash books already and we're so deeply tied to them. Mm-hmm. This is why, as you can see, this is why this book just tears us to fucking pieces with how, like, pissed off we get. So, thanks for that lore alert there.
You're welcome.
We'll check back in on this space. Ash and Sarah, I'm bashful. Ash and Sarah now question why Sarah would have been trained to kill the true primal of death if the embers of life and death are the key to keeping the ancients entombed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It just keeps going.
Why? Especially because she was trained by one of the ancients.
Like, y'all are pissing me off so fucking bad right now.
You know what? JLA is lucky that we're not going to the bookstore together, because I don't know if she would be ready.
I don't either. I'd be like, I'm not here. I'm not really here to see your bookshop. I just need to talk to you for a minute.
Yeah, just staking it out, be like, spotted. The other question arises of why Ethos and Colas are the only ones with this knowledge. I would imagine because they're the fucking primals of life and death. They
are the physical embodiments of the ancients, like,
Yeah.
Like they are, yeah, like no shit, they're the only ones that are going to know about it.
It's these kinds of stupid things. I'm like, why did the question arise? Why wasn't it? What?
I am enraged.
It's so bad. Guys, we're not even at chapter 6 yet. It's been over an hour. No, this is great. This is great. We're having a great time. And Sarah, I really want to get one of those microphones. You know what? I think I'm going to order us both one of those microphones that Ashby has for these next 2 episodes, because we're going to need some kind of... So, let's see. Yeah. Oh, I would imagine Ethos and Kolos are the only ones that know that because they were the primals of life and death, but it's a question. As Sarah continues to divulge what happened with the Siren and how her running away reminded Kolos of Sotoria, weird, she stops mid-sentence and she experiences a wave of PTSD. And Ash asks Sarah what else Kolos made her do. So he asks her full out, like, hey, can you tell me what happened? I also just like the verbiage of like, the image of you running away reminded you of my old lover. Like, it just reminded me of like dead wife clips in like horror movies and things when they're always running away on the beach or they're under the covers of a bed. Like, that's what I envision in Sotoria with all of these flashbacks to her in Kolos' memory. I just see him having a massive clip together footage of all of the dead wife footage that he took of Sotoria. That bit from Community is always one of the best ones. So, chapter 6, if you know, just so everyone is aware, there's a content warning. We get heavy on the PTSD in this chapter. Sarah's working through the physical reaction of Ash's question, what else did he make you do? And I can appreciate the wording of that question. Yeah. It's not what else happened to you, you know, did he make you do? I liked how that was worded.
Yeah.
She recalls how she had to simulate enjoying being in Kolos' company, sleeping next to him while he got himself off, while he fed from her. Ash's voice reins her back in, and she leads the conversation away from her trauma being the focal point. So she's definitely like avoidance to a degree. Like, she knows her limits, essentially. Like, she knows what she doesn't want to touch on yet. And, I think gotta respect those boundaries.
I think in this moment, like in the book, she's like, she feels herself almost vomit from talking about it. And she's like, nope, not going there. And that's totally valid. Totally valid.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. There's a reason there's plenty of stuff that hasn't been covered in therapy yet.
Yep.
And I also like that Ash's voice, like, brings her back. He continues to be like that grounding presence for her.
Yeah.
And so the conversation then transforms into the idea of how to kill Kolos, and seeing as they can't because of the balance. Cue that fucking like SpongeBob meme of him just like, the balance. Yeah. They'll have to entomb him instead. And wow, don't we already know how that goes? So as soon as they bring that up, like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to entomb him, we're all just like... Sarah proposes using a weapon made of bone of the ancients, and she also says they can use chains made of the same material.
She says, I want to make Kolos bleed and then dance in his blood. I
love that.
I love this whole part, because first she's like, well, Ash, do you have any weapons made of the bone? You know, and then she's like, oh, we could use chains too. She's like,
and we got this, and we'll have that, and then just like all the things that we can make him bleed with.
Right.
And then I'm gonna do Rocky Road to Dublin all over his blood. So finding the location of where to entomb this fuck rag is the next task. They can't do it in the Shadowlands because Kolos is the primal of death, and so that would just backfire terribly. So
Sarah, like bringing him home.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, let's bring him to where he's strongest, essentially. And Sarah proposes they entomb him where the ancients are at, but we don't know where that is. And the only primal that might know is Keela. So we're just going to add that to the to-do list. Yeah. So with this game plan, war is inevitable. So that's also going to happen. Great. Sarah says when she and Ash rule, she wants to rule differently than those before them. Heard, Chef. Ash suggests that the other primals should be involved with the politics of what happens with the surrounding courts when they get to that point. And as Sarah comes to the realization that Kolos doesn't want war, she can sense someone coming. So that intuition is tickling her spidey sense, you know? So chapter 7. We have a content warning for mention of parental loss in this one. So yeah, Sarah's spidey senses are firing off like crazy, and Ash confirms they do have visitors. It's Jadis and Reaver! Yay! Jadis is just being the most adorable, perfect little Draken baby angel, and Reaver shares that they felt Sarah when she woke up. As Sarah looks to the two of them, she reflects on the amount of loss that each of them have gone through. Like Ector, Davina, Morphine, and Jadis has. You wrote Morphine! You know what? I didn't even second guess that that wasn't her name. I didn't even second guess it. I was like, yeah, Morphine. We remember Morphine. Good God. Oh my God. Most unhinged yet. I can't believe this. So nonchalant. Davina, Morphine. Yeah. Anyway. And Jadis is already having lost one of her parents and Reaver having lost both of his. Reaver is very obviously trying to guard his emotions as he shares that no one would share where Sarah and Ash were. He also says that he knows it was him, Colas, that took his mother and then Sarah. So like, oh my God.
Yeah, this part,
Reaver.
like, especially being a parent, this part was very, very hard to get through. He just like emulating, the fear of a child being abandoned. You have
Yeah.
Reaver, who we've known as like kind of nonchalant, kind of like quirky. Obviously we see a different side of him and from Blood and Ash than we do of him with Sarah. But we really get this like full spectrum of emotion from him in this. And he
Yeah.
cries in this scene. And it's the way that JLA describes it is so tangible and it's just fucking heartbreaking. And I will say that we do get a full on Daddy Nyktos moment because when Reaver like is just crumbling and falling apart, Nyktos just instinctively grabs him up and just hugs him. It's very sweet.
Yeah, because he's like just freaking out. He's like, no one would tell me where you were. Like,
Yeah.
So it's a very sweet. It comes to be a very sweet moment. And there's also Sarah's feeding Jadis strawberries with a fork because she's been practicing eating with a fork. And Ash is offended that Jadis hasn't even acknowledged him yet.
He's like, WTF?
Yeah. And that's literally how like my husband is with his dog or something.
Yeah.
Like when we go over and the dog comes to me and not him, he's like, all right, well, fuck me, I guess.
Right.
So Sarah communicates with Jadis a bit using the telepe. And I was like, oh, that would be kind of cute. Just talking mind to mind with a 2-year-old. That would be
right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I can barely speak to them in general, but
all right.
I'm so awkward with children. I'm
Are
like,
you?
so what you doing there? Would you like to color? I'm like, I'm terrible with kids. Ash takes the two now sleeping Draken to another bedchamber, and Sarah opens the door to find Nyktos on the other side. He mentions how the mess in the room makes it feel lived in, like there's life present. And Sarah gives Nyktos the rundown on their plan of bringing the primals and Draken together for a united front. She then uses the opportunity to ask Nyktos what he knows about the ancients, and he's like, oh, so glad you asked, because he actually does have answers. So it's a lore alert continuation about the ancients. So earlier, when Sarah felt that she couldn't tell Ash about the ancients, Nyktos tells her it's because of the power that lies within this ancestry. He says the beings who wield control over life and death, the lands and the elements, those who hold within them such unyielding power, can never be in a position to rule. And for they are blood and bone. Basically, keeping the information from all primals is vital so they don't get power hungry.
Yeah, it's like no one can even know about it.
Yeah. But like, I don't understand. I wish that they elaborated a little bit on how is that power hungry? Like, how is them knowing that the ancients are just like buried somewhere? I don't know.
I think because if one of the primals knew, right, that this all-powerful being is still on their planet in the ground, if they raise them, then maybe they could control them.
I guess. I mean, I don't know
That's
in
the
what world
thing.
they would think that they could control them, but
Yeah,
also
or
these
like be
primals be fucked.
found in their favor. That's the only thing that I could
Yeah.
connect out of
I guess
all
that
of
makes
that.
sense.
Like kind of like the Renfield to their Dracula, right? Like, oh,
Got you.
I
Mm-hmm. I understood that reference now. I get it. I'm almost done with Dracula. I'm like, I've got like the last like 15 to 20% left. I'm so excited. Oh, actually, no, less than that. I'm so excited. So yeah, that information needs to be kept from all the primals so they don't get power hungry. And he says a primal of blood and bone, of life and death, straight from Colus's vision board. Okay. So before then, a single ancient could influence gods and mortals to go to war or make peace. They could inspire invention and love, or slothfulness and envy, and ensure that the lands were as fruitful as a union between the two. He said one could turn an entire village propitious or curse every inhabitant with misfortune. So it's kind of elaborating more on kind of what we already knew from like other books talking
yeah.
about like the primals and their power and how it has to be divvied up and all that jazz.
Mhm.
So he goes on to say it's because they wielded control over all forms of life and death. Sera drifts off to sleep and has a nightmare of being with Colus, unfortunately, only to be brought out of it by Ash's voice. Chapter 8. The next morning, Sera gets a visitor. Ios is here! Yay! It was so good to see Ios.
Yes.
She embraces Sera in a hug and thanks her for bringing her back to life. Remember that? Did we forget? Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Sera expresses concern in whether she did the right thing, but Ios eases her mind that she did. So Sera, like, essentially has a moment of being like, I hope you weren't, like, chilling and happy in the afterlife when I fucking pulled you back to this shit. She's like, nah, you're good, you're good. Sera confides in Ios about her feelings of handling the balance of life and death while navigating the natural order of things. And Ios shares her POV of the battle when Kin dragged her out to the pikes. Sera becomes enraged, and the room charges full of energy, wanting to go straight to Vathi and destroy Kin. Ios talks her down and tells Sera her eyes turned gold and silver, and she also heard Sera's voice in her head, and Sera's skin had a golden hue.
Interesting.
Is she getting her full primal form?
Interesting.
We also learn that Ios and Bella are a couple. They were previously together about like 18, 19 years previously, but they're back fresh. Io sympathizes with Sera for her time being held in Delos, and she shares that all she ever heard Colas talk about was Sotoria. Sera asks Ios if there were chests in the chamber during her captivity, and the silence is an answer enough. Ios validates Sera's experiences by telling her that it wasn't nothing. And my god, like, yes, I was excited to see Ios enter because like we just love her character in general, but also just knowing that she was going to be essentially like a safe space for Sera, on that they have mutual experiences in what they went through over there. And so yeah, I just love that she was there to validate.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for anyone that's any type of survivor, reading this, I think it's very validating, right? To hear that it wasn't nothing.
Absolutely. Chapter 9. The next morning, Sera stands at the balcony soaking up the sun. But we're in the Shadowlands. How are you soaking up the sun? Sera notices clouds. This probably means that the rot in Lasagna is gone too. So it's like, hey girl, mission accomplished. What you set out to do in the first place. You stopped the rot. At least, we don't know yet, but we know.
We know.
Not that far off to guess. She thinks about Ezra and Marisol and even her mother, and decides she wants to go visit. Her sight lands on the fully bloomed blood trees, and her mind drifts to the powers that Colas would pull. Sarah starts to like envision what that fight would look like between like Colas, the newly exhumed gods, pretty much. And it's not good. So she snaps herself out of that pretty quick. And then she hears a name. Emon Ikarion. He's been in the Shadowlands since Ash has ruled, and he lost his family due to their unrest over Ethos's death. He's a good guy. It's like, okay, cool, but like, who the fuck is
WTF.
he? Why is this person important to us?
Yeah.
Ash enters the room, shirt slightly unbuttoned, and
Mhm.
sleeves halfway rolled up. That's it. That's all I
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
We're done. Pants are off. Goodbye. He shares that Theon informed him that no outside ships have been spotted aside from their own, and it's a green flag that Kolis isn't making any moves yet. Within some strategy and chatter, Ash shares that when Kolis stole Ethos's embers, the primals were twisted in their nature. Sera shares what happened with Emon, and what happened with him is that she just, I guess, knows about him now. She just kind of knows.
Yeah, she like looked at him.
Key point is that she looked at him and heard his name, and knew everything about him. And there's a discussion over the changing weather as well, with the rise of Sera's abilities. Big emphasis on Sera wanting to be present to see the Shadowlands really flourish. And as they are preparing to head to this groundbreaking meeting, where everyone's either going to come together or kill each other, Sera says she needs to do something with her hair, and Ash detangles and braids it for her. Cute. They make their way to leave the chamber, and Sera recalls her vision of a cave cat. She tells Ash it felt like her, and that this must be her Nota. They reach the antechamber, and Ash encourages Sera that when she enters through those doors, she will be doing so as their queen. Together, always.
Sweet.
And so, entering for the first time as queen and king, everyone bows. Sera refuses to accept such a greeting and feels a bit uncomfy about it. I'm also tired of this with our FMCs, because Farah was the same fucking thing. I'm like, oh, you know what? Not Aelin, though. Aelin's like, that's right. Bow.
Yeah. Aelin is just a very well written character.
Correct.
It just
But yeah. No, like, I know that Sera was like, I never wanted to rule, so we do get that background on it, and we know that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's like, it's just it's the constant side conversations when people start doing that. It's like, girly, you know, you're queen. People are gonna do this.
Yeah.
Use your brain. Use your brain.
It's almost like wishing we got a cocky side of her going into this scene. Like, I would have loved to have seen her just like fucking owning it, and then maybe getting some of that discourse later. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
give her the space to like really be a bad bitch for a minute.
Right. And like, we get there.
Yeah.
But it's not, even that's not really like fully realized either. So yeah, they'll, and you know, it's explained that everyone's gonna do this every time that she enters a room, because she's their queen. She's my queen. But Ash tells her that she can tell them all that it's not necessary, and she could have actually said something from the start. And so they start bickering, because she's like, what the fuck do you mean you could have told me that at the beginning? And it's like, you also could have just had a free fucking thought and been like, hey, I'm queen. That means I can tell people what to and not to do. So I'm going to tell you not to do this. Like, it's just, yeah. So they start bickering, and Rahar and Sion reveal that they've once again bet on how long it was going to take for them to start fighting.
I do love that.
I love their ongoing bets. Everyone checks out Sera's new eyes and welcomes her back. So it's like, it's so funny, because literally one by one, they're all just being like, oh yeah, your eyes are cool. They're different. They're so pretty. They're so updated. And then they get to Bella. She's like, yeah, I'm glad you're alive and shit. Like, they've already said everything. Like, do you want me to just repeat what they said? I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah.
Hey. And I'm like, my God, thank you, Bella. I love you. Because that literally, I hate when that happens at, like, especially Thanksgiving. I hate when people, I hate the trend that started of like, let's go around the table and say what we're thankful for. I'm like, now I have to be original and not say the same thing that everyone else has been saying. And yeah, so it gave off that kind of energy. So I was so happy when Bella's like, yeah, glad you're alive and shit. When Rain greets her and they clasp forearms, he feels a charge at the touch. So that electric charge is coming up. They all sit and start their meeting, going over what's to come of the people since Sera's ascension to primal of life, because refugees from other courts are arriving in the hundreds. So for now, they can handle the influx of people, but can't do that for long. So they have to eventually figure out what's going to go on for that. Next topic, what to do about Kolis. And ain't that just like the subtitle of this book? It's Born of Blood and Ash. What to do about Kolis.
Yep.
That's the book. Bella wants to hunt him and his supporters down and attack. But that's not the most logical course of action, even though we all vote with Bella. So Kolis will likely start claiming that Sera has usurped the throne, and Ash and the rest believe that Kolis is a burn it all down type. Like, that's his only goal. He's like, he wants Sotoria, he's gonna burn it all away. But Sera brings up that she thinks that he's actually more calculated, like from the time that she spent in captivity. And it just like, it gave off such Cersei vibes when to hear them being like, they're just gonna claim that you usurped the throne. Or not Cersei, sorry. Flip it to the House of the Dragon show. Can't remember their names. But not the Targaryens. The Greens. No, that's not. Is that their names? The Green. Well, that's like their nickname, the Greens or whatever. Yeah, when they're just like, they did this and they did that. I don't know. The throne thing, it felt very Game of Thronesy. And yeah, and parts of this, like when Sera starts kind of talking about the evidence that she has from conversations that she was both in and witnessing while she was in captivity. And literally everybody, Ash included, keeps essentially telling her no. So yeah, one thing that like pissed me off in this conversation is that like Sera is providing actual like firsthand accounts of conversations that she was either involved in and had with Kolis, or that she just heard around while she was in captivity. And literally almost every other person, Ash included, is essentially being like, well, yeah, but that was like probably when he knew that you were Sotoria, or he believed you Sotoria, so of course he's gonna talk that way and not his real burn it down, old down way. And she's like, I don't know, he sounded like even before he thought I was Sotoria, he kind of sounded more calculated than he lets on. And they're just like, no, we've been fighting him for so long. And I'm just like, listen to this fucking woman. Oh my God, just listen to her. Like, you're talking about, oh, she's our queen. Cool. Why don't you listen to her? Like, stop completely invalidating everything that she literally heard with her own ears. Like, it pissed me off to no end, especially because Ash was one of the ones telling her that there's no way that was right.
Yeah, it's a very, very conflicting moment for sure. Like,
yeah, because it's like he had his own experience. But
yeah, and this stacks. It's just add another tally to like, how do we really feel about his motive?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if it necessarily his motives, because I do think that he truly loves her. I do think that he wants the best for her. It's just that like, I think it's just a part of his character that like that's just
it's just feeling kind of weird.
How he is. I don't know. Yeah. I miss Castile. Because that Castile would be right next to Poppy if Poppy was in this position. And he would be like, actually, she was the one that was just there and hearing all of this firsthand. Why don't you fucking listen to her?
Exactly. Where all of y'all that are like claiming that she's so great and wonderful, who's going to bat for her?
Yeah. Ios and Bella. That's it. And that's why they're my favorite.
Yep.
And Reaver, and I think he's here, but he's preoccupied doing something. So yeah, they discuss what Sera knows of his behavior. So they're also coming into question what she even knows. And I'm like, oh my God, as if she didn't see it. And Rain brings up that, so Rain also, got to give Rain his props. He also does back her up.
Yeah.
Rain brings up that Kolis released him with Sera's convincing, but he does not reveal that it was via a deal she made, which was to sleep with him, as far as Rain knows, because that was the words that Kolis used. We know that it was simply a sleep next to him, not active, sex in bed. But as far as Rain knows, that's what happened that night. Like, she was raped that night. So, but moving forward, Sera sees Kolis as cautious and reserved, but Ash sees him as unpredictable. Which, yes, he is 100% both. But it's just, when it comes to the war and the things that were, like, front of mind with Kolis while Sera was there, I'm just like, I wish that they would have taken her word for that. And she didn't deal with so much like resistance on it. Chapter 11, Sera openly tells everyone that she honestly doesn't know the right answer to this, and everyone says it's better to be honest and ask for help than fake it till you make it and play with war. It's like, yeah,
valid
for sure. And I'm glad that people reacted that way. So they reacted correctly that way in that instance of being like, actually, no, we like that you're willing to admit to us that you don't know if this is the right thing. So it's like, oh, you're willing to accept when she admits that she might not know what the right thing is, but when she tries to put her foot down and say, actually, no, this is what I believe, then that's when you push back. Got it. Anyway, I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. That is what we are doing this for.
Sera explains the plan to summon the primals, who they believe may be allies to them, so essentially, which is everyone minus Kin and Vesies, and they create a council, so every court has a say in decisions that are made from now on moving forward. The Draken would also get a vote in that as well. So
That's
they'd have
good.
like a representative. So yeah, they're very democratic in that way.
That's nice.
I know that that's not the exact correct term because they're not voting anyone into power, but it's like a monarchy, but also with like a council, and I don't know what that political term is called, but I'm sure it exists. So just kind of as a run through of all the primals and where they stand. So we have Phanos, who they're a bit iffy on of if they would get his support. He's a laid back approach kind of ruler. There's Empress, who is a traditionalist who rules with a strict hand, and Lila calls him a tyrant. So it's like, okay. She explains that the only place his rule doesn't reach is Mount Lotho, where the Fates and Honoru are. And the Honoru are the gods of dreams. And she says, causing either pleasant dreams or nightmares while working out whatever information they want from you. They make for good spies that way.
Asriel.
Yeah, terrifying.
Honestly, we learned about the gods of dreams. I was like, I would like to be there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I could be friends with one of you guys, I think.
Yeah.
So Vesi's court, obviously, they're not going to get her support, and her court is a cesspool.
Yeah.
Kin's court is ultra-violent. Keela and Ates rule fairly. And there's Maya, who's not bad per se, but who has been more focused on entertaining herself via lots of orgies.
Yeah, she's just like doing her
going on.
She's just like doing her own thing. She's like, free love, man.
Yeah, she's the hippie court.
L-I-V-I-N.
Yep. And then there's Bella's court, who is Hanan's old court. So that one's still kind of like on rocky terms as far as like the full court's, support. But she says that she's got about 100 good ones. So it's like, okay.
Okay.
And if Sera wanted to replace a primal, so aka kill them and ascend another god to take their place, she could. Or she can take the court for herself as the primal of life. Just keep that in there. Yeah. So, step 1. They will summon the primals, and as for Colas, they will entomb him, ensuring the balance is kept. So they can't kill him, gotta entomb him. But for how long, we ask? Because we don't know how long he's gonna be entombed for. Mm-hmm. Ash will continue as the primal of death because he still has the embers, so why the fuck can't you just transfer the embers? And Sera as the primal of life, or until Sotoria can be used per Ash, and her soul released. The fact that the words come out of his mouth can be used. Yeah.
I know. It's just it's just another tick mark at this point.
Yeah, I miss book 1 Ash, man. Like, this is the point, like, and I didn't fully, like, get to this point, obviously, until we read this book, but, like, I was never on team Nyktos, but I'm like, yeah, he's got his good aspects. Like, yeah, I could see what you see in him, all that jazz. I'm like, after reading this book, all of you Ash and Nyktos lovers, what the fuck? I'm gonna need you guys to come with a debrief after this book. As far as I need you guys on your soapboxes to describe this to me, because the math ain't mathin' in my head.
Yeah, no, this book derailed him for me, and I hate that.
Yeah,
it's a really shitty feeling, quite honestly, of like loving this MMC for 3 books, and then I get to this one, and I'm like, I really detest him. It sucks.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have a therapy session at the end of part 3. Or throughout. Part 3 is just going to be a therapy session.
Literally. It's going to be like a 3-hour episode because we have to get through the rest of the book, and then it's just going to be the rest. Because I did have that thought. I'm like, okay, we're going to have our like series breakdown, and when is that happening as far as inviting our den mothers to like come talk with the book and have like another Under the Covers episode to discuss more of these things. And like we'll figure those out at some point, but like I'm itching. I'm itching.
We need to have a round table. We need to have a round table for sure.
So yeah, once Sotoria would become old enough, Alice will be no more because she'll kill him. And that also makes me... No, get that. Don't. I'm getting ahead of myself. Rewind. Future spoilers. Rewind. So Sera can summon the primals herself, and they can also use Ates to contact them for her. Another plot point. I'm like, I don't get it.
Mm.
I don't get it. What do you mean she can summon the primals herself, or they could just use Ates to contact them for her?
Like, why
they
are
can
we
either send
mentioning
him out
that?
as messenger boy, or she could just do it herself.
Because he's a hawk, I guess. I don't. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Don't
It's like,
understand.
why are we adding this information in? Why are we adding this in?
It's because we have to get Ates involved for what we know of later down the line. Like, we need him involved. So
Right.
it is a plot device kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I just wish that it wasn't it. Yeah, there's so many of these things where you see the two paths clearly in front. Be like, okay, if we take this route, we have to completely get rid of all of these like plots from like C to F.
Yeah.
But if we go this way, then we can keep them. So it's like I feel like she goes this way to keep those plot points.
Mm-hmm.
Namely Ates in this instance. So she briefly detects the presence of another Draken nearby and thinks that it's Nyktos, and shortly after he actually does appear. So she's like, I'm getting better at this. So
my Wi-Fi is increasing.
Even your Wi-Fi is just like, let me go. So both Ash and Sera ask for Nyktos' support. So the two of them are asking him, like, choose who to support. Ash says, I feel rather confident, assuming the only thing you would do with a sword is use it. And Sera says, wanna find out? I loved that part.
I did too.
And then Ash winks at her. Nyktos agrees with Ash that she cannot go with him to see Ates. So that's what they're asked. I should have clarified. Nyktos, they were asking Nyktos to say, hey, either Sera gets to go with Ash to see Ates, or he doesn't. Yeah. Essentially, it's decided that Sera cannot go with Ash to go see Ates because as soon as she steps foot in Vathi, her like presence is going to be detected. Remember how like she's primal of life now, and that kind of shit has like consequences. Lila says that she'll go with Ash to keep the peace, and Ates will be less likely to escalate things with her there. Wonder why? Rain suggests that Sera make a statement to those who have come to the Shadowlands for safety and let them know that she's there for them and allow them to see and hear her. It's like, yeah, I would agree. So they decide that tomorrow she'll address the people of Leith, and then after that, they'll speak with Ates. So we're cut to a bit later, and Sera and Ash are astride Odin as they kind of just ride around the area along the Dying Woods to a village near the Black Bay. I almost said the Back Bay because I live in Boston. Yeah, you got the Dying Woods in the village near the Back Bay. Ash lets her know that there's 42,000 homes here, along with their army. And as Sera, Ash, and Layla crest over the valley below, the soldiers all kneel and pound the ground in like a loud thumping sound. It's pretty cool. He says they are not just paying homage to their queen. They are telling you that they are yours and that if it comes down to it, they will go to war for you.
That it's like a big Khaleesi moment.
I saw an edit on TikTok about Daenerys. That was so good. I restarted Game of Thrones.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to see Dany come into power again because it's so good. And like, I understand that a lot of people have their feelings on season 8 Dany. Personally, I'm kind of all for it. I really, I the only part I don't like is like her ending. How they ended her was like, but I love seeing her go like, full blaze. It was great.
My friend that was over here, have you read the books, the Game of Thrones?
I have
not. Okay, so I haven't either. Do you want any spoilers for them?
So I know bits here and there, yeah. So I don't.
So apparently, Catherine is the mom's name, right? Catherine Stark.
Catelyn.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, like the whole red wedding scene, like she is brought back to life. And so, like, when my friend told me that, I was like, bro, what? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, now I kind of understand why the people that read the books were so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
With the show. Because, like, for me as a watcher, I was like, oh, yeah, like, that sucks. But I didn't understand the full depth of it. And she was telling me all, because I was like, I don't know if I would like to read them. I don't know if I'm ever going to read them. So go ahead and just tell me. And she's telling me all of this stuff. I was like, what? And she was like, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the show ended and the books aren't even out yet because he's dragging ass on it.
Right.
So that's another reason that I'm not going to read them. I'm like, no, the man is dragging ass at reading books. I'm not I'm not going to give him money just so he can continue to just not do it. So yeah, anyway, always love talking Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
They continue discussing the general number of soldiers that each court has, and there's also the Draken to account for. So Colas has about a dozen Draken, Kin and Empress about 10 each, and the other courts have about 5 or fewer. And Rain explains why there's so few Draken, and he says the Draken go through cycles that last about a century and can only conceive for a few weeks during that time. And from what I can gather, many of the Draken have taken active steps to prevent conception since Colas's reign began. Can't relate! You mean beings choose not to procreate when the reign of whoever's in charge of that space is fucking evil? You don't say. My God, reading that, I was like, so yeah. Wanted to highlight that quote real quick.
Yeah. So we will,
also,
we are going to give a little pedestal for, there are good moments in this book.
Oh, there are
good moments, and that is, that is a very good, that is one of them.
Yeah. But also the Draken cycles that last a century. How long is a Draken's period, man?
Like, dude,
my God, that's got to be like a months long period.
My labor alone was over 24 hours. Now, granted, I had a doula and I went into it wanting to do an all natural labor, right?
Mhm.
So most of that was intentional, but at about 22 hours in, and they were like, this is the last chance that you can take an epidural if you want it. And I was like, give it to me. I've been waiting for 22 hours doing Tai Chi through this hospital. I can't. I need some fucking sleep for a minute.
Yeah.
So a century or what?
No. My God. Any story that I ever hear about labor, I am just like, the respect I have for you and just the fear that instills in me.
Women are fucking incredible. I'm just gonna say that women are incredible.
Fuck yeah. So on the topic, back to like how many Draken everyone has. The good news is though that they have the most. Hooray! They have Ates, and Sera is confident that Keela will join them. Maya, hopefully as well. Maya as well as Phanos and Empress were kind of up in the air. And Kin and Vessies obviously are going to side with Colas.
Mm-hmm.
And if either Phanos or Empress stood with them, they'd be outnumbered. Yep. So it's like we need one or both of them. If we don't get that, then we're fucked. Chapter 12. Rain gives Sera some advice about how much to say during her speech and what to say. Not too long to not say too much, and tell them about the positive change that she wants to make. She meets with Ios for assistance with deciding what to wear, and Rain insists she should wear a gown, but it isn't her. Another instance where I'm like, these fucking men need to back off. Like, and Sera has an amazing moment with that too. She's like, I once knew a queen who wore the most beautiful dresses and was covered in like the largest jewels, and she was an evil bitch. And it's like, fuck yeah, you tell them. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, why? I love Sarah's reasoning here. It's just great. So if she's like appear true to form, she needs to dress like it, queen or not. She's like, just because I didn't dress this way when I wasn't a queen, doesn't mean I should change it because now I am a queen. Like, of course, there's formal things that I'm sure you gotta dress up for, but I'm like, I'm addressing the people. I do not need to be in this sparkly gown. And Ios also defends her choice, and Sera wonders if she knows why she didn't want to wear a gown as well. So that not wearing a gown has multiple different reasons to it. Ash appears, and Ios, Rain, and Reaver leave them alone to give them a minute. And we now have a lore alert. And I didn't know what else to call this one besides primal of life urges.
I like it. I like it.
So, thinking back to riding past the dying woods earlier, Sera could sense the shades within the forest. and grew anxious in that moment. So if we remember, she'd touched one way back when and started to kind of like reform how like we could see like the muscles and the blood
Yeah,
vessels and
grew a
everything coming back.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she worries that she won't be able to control the pull to return life to the deceased. So like she was anxious riding past the dying woods because she could feel the pull to go bring life back to the shades.
Mhm.
And Ethos struggled with refusing to bring people back when asked, especially if it was a child or an unexpected death. He did it more at the beginning than towards the end and enjoyed the worshiping that it brought him. So, already very different motivations between him and Sarah.
We're really getting what Nyktos was talking about earlier about how Ethos's ego was the death of him,
Yeah.
essentially. This is big, big contribution to that.
Mm-hmm. But once Ethos realized that he couldn't continue granting life at the rate he was, he put gods in charge of answering those summons. So he did put some things in place to try to stave it off a little bit, but doesn't mean that the ego still wasn't there. And after he started doing that, the rest of the primals also followed suit. So that's where a lot of the primals kind of started to step out of the summons light and let gods answer instead. Sarah shares that her father summoned Colas, not knowing that Ethos was the one previously to answer the summons, and so her father had summoned Colas to try to get her free of the deal, but of course Colas refused, and from that moment on, he knew of her existence from the start. So it's kind of more so Sarah starts getting upset because she's like, so Colas knew I existed from the start. Everything that Nyktos has done over the years to keep her hidden, like the deal with Vessies and all of these other things, the people that have died to protect her, has been for nothing? Question mark. So that's kind of the question that she poses, but Ash assures her that everything he's done and everything he's sacrificed was not for nothing. And she's like, yeah, but why aren't you furious about this, like, at all? And he says that he chooses not to let anger over things out of his control consume him. And like, damn, coming in with the logic there.
Yeah.
Sarah feels the ether growing inside her with the anger, and she is now levitating and comes back down. He's like, you want to stop levitating? And she's like, I'm not levitating. She's like, oh shit, I'm levitating.
Yeah.
Nyktos says, I refuse to allow anger over what is already done and over with to rot inside me. And Sarah understands, but also doesn't. She vows to herself that Vessies will pay for her role in this. Like, and good.
Yeah.
She thanks him for helping her start the meeting earlier while she kind of found her footing, and then offers to show him just how thankful she is and gives him a blowjob. And then so we cut to later, and it's after dinner, they're in the bedroom, and Sarah thinks about how they will help cultivate the land for crops now that the rot's gone, because now they have to start planting all these crops to feed all these refugees and kind of give them places to live, food, water, etc. But as we know, the lands are like barren. There's no flowing water. It's rough out there.
Yeah.
But she's the primal of life. Can't she help restore life to the land? Like get water flowing? Like water in itself gives life, so doesn't that essentially work the same way? So Ash enters, and while she processes this in front of him, he just stares at her boobs, eager for dessert. But she urges on, saying like, no, I can do this. I can actually do this now. Like, I want to do this now. And I'm like, damn, if that isn't relatable. Where I'm like, no, there's a task, and I know I can do it now if I'm just in that space. So like, I gotta go right now. And I'm like, relatable. Chapter 13, the two of them leave through the right gates to test her theory, and they arrive on a hill on the outskirts of the city, and Sarah notices that she can't smell the stale lilac smell of the rot. Ash tells her about one of his father's creations, the Lyru, but says that they were a mistake. This is another thing that I'm just so confused about, because why are we talking about this? Like, it's just like how we get to this place in this conversation. It's like, okay, we're out here and we're talking about how Sarah's gonna bring life or whatever, and I don't know how the fuck they get there, but yeah, all of a sudden he's just like, let me tell you about my dad's creations.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, we forgot to mention this at the beginning. The pronunciation list, that was included at the beginning of this book. I was like, who the fuck are all these people? Why? Why
yeah.
on fucking earth is it we get to this book and there's like 3 fucking pages of names that I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
WTF.
Here they are.
Here.
So now we get some context on the Lyru. They were originally mortal, and legend says that my father believed he could give mortals a dual life like he did for the Draken. But this was different. For what he created were beings mortal by day that took the form of beasts similar to wolves but on 2 legs at night. And they had no control over their forms once night fell. So, like, werewolf variants. So instead, they just change at night versus the moon, like in the phase of the moon. But like,
yeah, like, are they connected to the Kiyu wolves somehow? I mean,
I wonder. Yeah, I was waiting for that. I'm waiting for that in this book. Where are we getting the wolves? Sarah creates the wolves.
I do have a gut feeling that Blood of Bone, we're definitely be getting Kiyu wolf background. We have to. That's the one thing that she hasn't.
Primal Blood of Bone, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing she hasn't covered is that.
So all of the Lyru are gone now, and since the Shadowlands is a place where there's no true day or night, the Lyru ran rampant and had to be hunted into extinction. So it was rough.
Yeah.
So they move on because Sarah can't delay any longer. Why are you delaying when you're the one that pulled him out of here in the first place? And it's one thing 1 minute and another thing the next. Like, she's pulling him out of the bedroom in her nightgown saying, I can do this right now. And then she gets there and she's like, I'm delaying this. It's like,
yeah,
it's driving me insane. So we do want to make a note. We questioned if the hawks in earlier books were ates, and we have an answer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sarah says, I studied my hands, thinking about how I'd healed the wounded hawk in the redwoods, the Cora, an extension of a primal that takes the form of their primal notum. Unbeknownst to me, the hawk had belonged to Ates. So, originally we were like, is that Ates? But it's just an extension of him, but still very cool. So, we know this. We know who else has seen these hawks.
Yep. We do. We do.
Okay, getting ahead of myself. I can't unleash that yet.
I know.
I feel like I've got 3 valves on the inside, and my second valve is like, please. I'm like, no, not until part 2.
That's exactly how I was feeling earlier talking about the array. I know very similar feeling that you're feeling, and it's like, those aliens from Mars Attacks. That's on my alien movie list, by the way.
I love Mars Attacks. I love it.
I knew you were gonna say that, and it just makes me love you so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. Are you kidding? Those freaky fucks.
The dog. I can't. I'm gonna derail. We gotta go.
So Sarah places her hands on the dried riverbed and she wills the ether to bring water back. And the ground starts to shake and she worries that she's actually caused an earthquake. But instead, water starts rising from the dirt slowly. Then a shooting geyser forming a shape with wings just like bursts out of the ground and like sweeps over the land, depositing water into the rivers and shit.
Oh my god, I know it's badass. I'm sorry.
It is described very nice. Like, that's a quick and dirty explanation. It's described in reality very well. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, oh my god, like, can you imagine? Because I feel like this is happening at night, and you're just sleeping, and all of a sudden, the house is shaking. And then you look outside and you live at the bottom of a mountain and there's water with wings racing down the mountain.
I would fucking die.
I would shit my bed and just, this is it. This is how I die. Just the visual of a citizen of the Shadowlands at this point. If you're living in Leith, like, these refugees are like, Jesus fuck, we're getting out of here.
Yeah, can we just take a minute for all the other characters in all of these series, how all of this crazy, groundbreaking shit is happening? Does anyone think about the NPCs? Does anyone think about what the fuck is going through their mind?
Yeah. That'll be another shirt that we'll get. It'll just say, what about the NPCs?
They're just like, oh, business is normal.
Yeah. Oh, that's another weird sound. Oh, the earth's shaking again.
Must be the apocalypse.
Yeah. They've got their go bag already, like, all right. Another day in the life. Oh my god. So yeah, water's spraying all over the place. Then energy in the form of golden lights scatter across the whole land before them. So not secluded areas, just splooshing all over the fucking place. Poppies start to grow though. Yay, it's poppies.
They do.
And then trees start to sprout with deep violet leaves, and Ash says he is in awe of her and calls her my queen.
My queen.
Yes. So what a scene. So chapter 14. Yeah.
You know the people that like stand on those like water jet ski things and they like
Yes.
fly around in the air. That's what I was picturing.
That's oh my god.
Anyways.
That's all right. I just think of the people like, what if, God forbid, to take up the land, they built their house in one of the riverbeds and their house is swept away. Goodbye.
This mystical being with fucking water wings. It's just like,
and you're worried about the ancients?
Hope you have fucking homeowners insurance, bro. Jesus.
Hope you had flood insurance.
Guess what? FEMA's been defunded. No, sorry.
Getting real again.
Sorry.
I'm bashful. I was gonna say that to break the tension from now on. I'm bashful. Yeah. Give me your bank account. Send me your routing number. Chapter 14. Sera wakes and feels nauseous, then goes to the bathroom. And we all say, huh?
Okay. This is getting a little repetitive.
Yeah. She feels strange, but the nausea subsides and Ash appears behind her, and he grew impatient waiting for her to come back to bed, and he says he needs her now. This scene also, why is it necessary? He starts to kiss her and they're facing a mirror, so like that part of it is hot, undeniably. So he starts to kiss her and then fingers her while looking at her reflection. And there's a moment when his fangs graze her throat and she almost has like a feeling, like she mentions getting this kind of like very brief tense moment, but moves from it very quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously, we can tell that's her PTSD kind of coming to a head, and she's pushing that back down. He calls on his shadows to hold her up while he fucks her from behind, and then with her very enthusiastic permission, being fuck my pussy and my ass, the shadows do in fact go inside that ass. So Ash fucks her real good and gives her some aftercare before leaving her alone again. And yeah, I made a note saying he keeps saying pussy and I don't like it. I just hate it.
And listen, I'm right. I'm on the same bar with you.
It's even worse when he pairs the word pretty with it. When he says pretty pussy, I'm like, I would rather you say vagina, for the love of God. Like, it's not as bad as folds. I've had to listen to some folds before recently, and I'm like, but sexual body parts are just very hard to describe in a flattering manner, you know?
They are. The mound.
Oh, the mound. Tufts of hair. Sprang free. You know. Things are just springing free left and right. You gotta watch yourself. Gotta get black eyes out here.
It's John C. Reilly's afro popping out.
Yeah. So Sera looks at her reflection in the mirror and closes her eyes. But when she opens them, she sees Colas looking back at her. And which is the face that she sees in her nightmares, as we know. But he's gone in a moment as soon as Ash reappears. And she puts together that it's the Videntia telling her Colas is conscious.
Which is wild.
Which is crazy. But a part of me was like, I wish that was just a moment of her PTSD. And that it's like a Green Goblin scenario. Not that it's like an evil version of her, but like a seeing of reflection of like a PTSD kind of flash kind of deal. Like that's what I thought it was going to be. And then it connected to the Videntia. And I'm like, it didn't need to connect that way, but fine.
Right. How much more can we mentally destroy Sera? That's what it's giving.
Yeah. What to do about Colas and how much more can Sera be destroyed? The next morning, Sera walks through the palace thinking if her bringing life back to the land had affected the dying woods, but she is able to decipher that they hadn't changed, which was good news. So she essentially worried that that burst of life that she just sent scattering all over Leith leaked into the dying woods and gave life back to the shades, upsetting the balance. But that did not happen. She understands that what she'd done last night had awakened Colas, and she has finished preparing to speak to the people of Leith and is wearing a silver tunic with black leggings. And hell yeah, girl, we love a comfy queen.
I do love that these characters get leggings. I love that.
Yes. Reaver is nearby drawing, and he tells her that he draws when she's anxious. And she asks why he's anxious, and he says, well, because you're anxious. And he's like, well, you're Mea Lisa. All of the Draken can sense it. And so she starts to feel like super guilty because like all of her like negative feelings is just like being projected onto Reaver. It's
No, no protection of her autonomy. No sense of self-autonomy does she have.
None.
Good Lord.
And it's like, yet again, it's on the woman to control her feelings so to keep others comfortable.
Yep.
It's like, it just keeps coming back to that, and I hate it.
The matriarch persona that is supposed to be able to weather and withstand all and do it with a smile on her face and a calm demeanor.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not saying that she should be that way. Like, she's allowed to feel this way. I just hate that it has literal physical repercussions on those around her. So then it still falls back on her. And just the fact that it's written by a woman just doubles down. And I'm just like, why is it this way? So Ash joins them shortly after, and Rain needs to see them before they kind of go to speak with everybody. And Reaver escorts them because he's like, I want to go. And they're like, all right, you can come. You can escort us. And he's like, great. So cute. So before they go, Sera tells Ash that her power woke Colas last night. And while she feels responsible, Ash says he enjoys knowing that it was her being powerful enough primal to wake him. So he's like, I mean, yeah, that's pretty nice. That's a good way of looking at it. Walking down the grand staircase, Rain tells them with a tense stance that there's something up with the crowns. So, chapter 15, we have another content warning for the PTSD unwanted contact. Entering the small chamber, we see that there's only one crown. And Ash's crown is not there. This is her crown. He places it on her head, and she feels it shudder and like start to vibrate. And then Ash's face is bathed in golden light. He takes it off, and she can now see that it's transformed to reflect her as queen. And there's 9 shining golden swords, and the sun rising from the middle one, glittering with diamonds. My God.
I do love that.
That's a hot-ass crown.
Yep.
Colas had summoned his crown back to him, but got the Primal of Death's crown instead, as Sera is the true Primal of Life. So that's why there's only one. Sera chooses not to wear the crown until Ash has his own back. And I'm like, cute, solidarity. Arriving to City Hall, they enter and walk through the halls. And just the fact that it's referred to as City Hall is such an Earth word. And like, it just makes me think that like, they're just walking through the halls of like my local city hall, like this like little building with like fluorescent lights and, you know, people lined up to get married by, you know, the people and sign their licenses and like for whatever, paying bills, all that jazz. It's just so funny when it's like, oh yeah, they arrived at City Hall. I'm like, oh. And so she is greeted and gets handed a glass of wine. So she takes a big swig of what is mulled wine, which is excellent, by the way, and I highly recommend making some this fall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Enzo makes it for us every fall now. It's so good. It's so good. I can't wait. I was looking at him after I read this, and I was just like, I really want you to make that mulled wine again soon. And he's like, it is August. I'm like,
you're like, I need it now.
I know, but I want it now. So Sera takes a big swig, get the confidence up. And Sera asks Layla, like, how many showed up? Like, how many are here? And Layla just goes, everyone. And I'm just like, cool. Okay,
all
great. We're good. We're cool. We're chill. Sera and Ash have a moment, and he helps her breathe through like a brief burst of panic when Rain's voice booms through the hall with her full title. The one who is born of blood and ash, the light and the fire, and the brightest moon, the true primal of life, and the queen of the gods and common man. Nice. And she makes a comment about how that's a hell of a long title.
Yeah.
And then he says Ashes, the Asher, the one who is blessed, the guardian of souls, and the primal god of common men and endings. They shadow step onto the dais, and everyone bows before them. They sit on their thrones as Nyktos breathes silver fire into the sky and flies above them and lands, laying down beside them. Once again, how big are these Draken? I don't understand.
Is
It's either
this an open roof floor plan? What is
Yes.
this?
Is it open roof? I feel like it is because I think that they mention the term Coliseum at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, first we were at City Hall, but now it's a Coliseum. Make up your mind. But yeah, I'm like, okay, how did he get in there? And also, how is he able to sit next to the dais? And like, I just don't get it. I'm so spatially unaware of how big these things are. Like, it's impossible to differentiate, honestly. Sera looks over the faces of those before her and sees wonder, disbelief, acceptance, and devotion. She wants to be closer to them and, tells Ash such. So they step down from the throne and he joins her. They make their speeches to the crowd and are received with hollers and cheers of support. They even make out in front of everybody, which with tongue, and the crowd enjoys it. So like, okay.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think about in Colus's court how everyone's just having a shit ton of orgies. So I think maybe, they just appreciate seeing the powers come together.
I guess. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but I'm like, all right, well, if the crowd enjoys it, okay. Like, I'm just not kiss, cool. It's the fact that they open mouth tongue each other in front of all those people. I'm like, okay, that's a bit. Rein it back. Are you gonna fuck too? Come on now. Because they're on a streak here. And so yeah, their introduction goes over perfectly and they celebrate it. By how? Oh yeah, having sex. So later that night, Sarah's having a nightmare and sees bars of gilded bones, gold everywhere, and chains. She tells herself that she isn't here, she got free. And then she hears Colus's voice and feels him around her and feeding from her, getting hard, and so on, as she tries to yell no. She hears Ash's voice and she wakes up with him, only a nightmare, but she can't breathe and is like hyperventilating. So he talks her through the steps to calm her breathing and regain control. And when talking her through it gets tender and but also like traumatic, I'm like a sucker. I'm a sucker for it. Like, I love a talking her through it moment sexually. It's great. I love when people write that stuff, but especially here where it's like I'm with you, breathe, count up, you've got this. Like, I love that stuff. She relaxes and feels ridiculous for going into a panic attack over a nightmare. And same as Ash says, like, please do not. Going into panic attacks in general, never your fault. That's a nervous system misfire kind of deal. That is bodily reaction. You do not have control over that. Because yeah, I've woken up from plenty of panic attack from a nightmare and have to like control myself and go through those motions. And yeah, it's tough to cope with. But so I understand her like feeling ridiculous about it, but it's important for everyone else to know that you don't need to feel ridiculous about it. Ash asks if she wants to talk about her nightmare, and she says she doesn't remember and they should go back to sleep. As they do, she knows that he doesn't believe her. So I'm going to lightly touch on this because this is just the beginning. PTSD and talking with safe people about your trauma is tough, no doubt. Like, it is hard. Reading about it in this way does keep it very relatable, but oh my god, how frustrating is that to read? Like, I level with her 100% over like not being ready to talk about it, things like that. But I wish that she would say that instead of lying about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my biggest gripe, I think.
I'm like, I'd say, I don't know when I'd track my like healing journey from starting. Because my big cataclysmic event happened 9 years ago. So I'd say I think I started actively healing maybe 3 years ago. I like finally started working on it. And Zach and I have been together 8 years. So he's been with me through all of it. And I still have like, if I'm dealing with triggers and stuff, I will lock up and shut down, and I'm still working on that. Like, and the shutdown is like my go-to. And so I totally am right there with you where I feel I do appreciate this book for that element. I am going to say that. If nothing else, if I don't take anything else away from this book, I do appreciate the representation of PTSD in it. So,
yeah. It's so sad watching her lie to him. And then knowing that he knows that she's lying. And so there's just this wall between them because of it. It just, it's heart-wrenching. Yeah. So chapter 16, the next day, Sera has no appetite, which is weird because she's usually hungry. And we all once again just jim the camera. She's in Ash's office as he writes in the Book of the Dead. And Sera is practicing using the ether for minor tasks like moving objects and chooses to use a knife. Great choice. Good choice. You can't control how things fly. Like it describes that there's like shattered glass all over the desk and stuff from her like failed attempts at catching the glass. And she's like, let me try the dagger. Why not? Let me try the knife. And it's like, no, what do you have? A knife. No.
I always forget because it's not mentioned that much that Ash does that because he is the primal of death. Duh, right? But that he writes in the Book of the Dead. I kind of wish that was elaborated on more.
Yeah, they made a point about it, I feel like, in the second book.
But that was then like
never again.
Yeah, and so now I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he does that.
Yeah, but like, and he has to do that, I'm pretty sure he says, like, every day because otherwise the queue builds up. And so I'm like, okay, so all these days that you and Sera were fucking, are these people just lining up
just like limbo.
In fucking Beetlejuice, just waiting in line and ever-growing queue?
It's like in The Good Place. It's like in The Good Place how they're waiting in the lobby. They're just, yes, like Beetlejuice.
Thanos, do your job. Jesus. So yeah, they banter, which causes her to make the knife fly towards a paper that he's holding, but he catches it in midair by the handle, and it's hot.
Yeah.
And Ash questions why she hasn't eaten much, and it's like, I don't know, maybe she's preggert.
That's a thought.
Like,
that's a possibility.
Never crosses anyone's mind. Now, I don't recall. Someone else can probably correct me if you also don't remember. I don't know if there's any mention of like a menstrual cycle that humans or primals or gods go through in this universe.
Not with the no.
Okay.
I mean, with the mortals, yes, but
right.
I think it is like very gingerly touched on in maybe the first book. But yeah, as far as the gods and everything, the primals, no, there's no talk of a menstruation cycle.
Because it's definitely been at least like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because I think she was with Colas for like a month, I think.
Yeah. And they're fucking every day.
And I'm like, girl, you don't notice that you're not bleeding anymore? Anyway, she notices that Ash's skin is warmer, but does the math that he hasn't fed since she woke up. So why would his skin be warmer? And he tells her that he wishes she'd talk to him about the nightmare. And I say, yay, Ash. And that he tells her, like, she was screaming the word no in her sleep. Like, he's very aware that something is up. And she tries to play dumb, and avoiding, saying, I don't remember what it was about. And then he tells her the same thing that Nyktos did, that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. And it's such a heart-wrenching, heartbreakingly good line. So she starts to feel an awareness that something ancient was coming.
That's mentioned a lot in just this part that we're covering.
Something ancient?
Something ancient, an ancient power, an ancient this, ancient that. Well, girl!
Guess who? A portal opens, and a man walks through. He has his nipples pierced.
Oh!
An important detail, Yeah. An important detail I felt the need to say. And she notices that his eyes are the same eyes that she'd seen during her ascension, seeing the realms created. This is an ancient.
Fuck.
Ooh. Shit. He brings word that Sera's been summoned by Colas. No. Chapter 17. Colas wants to speak and summoned a fate to carry out the request and monitor discussions so they're peaceful. Ash cannot step foot in Delos while they meet. Only Sera can go. Even though Colas can't physically hurt her, his words could do just as much damage, as we know.
Yeah.
The Ancient is named Aiden, and Nyktos knows him, and he's got an attitude. Ash nearly goes to fight him, but Nyktos holds him back. And he says, I need you to calm down before neither of us has a choice in you doing so, and preferably before those claws come out and Sera tears into me. I'm sorry? Say what now?
Yeah.
Because Sera's fingernails, she notices, have started to lengthen and sharpen. And then we move on. Ash chills, and they are left to speak alone, so the two of them. There's a brief moment where things get tense and Ash confronts Sera. Like, does she really think that he doesn't know what she was dreaming about? And, like, why is she reacting this way? You know, but now isn't the time to really have that discussion, because she needs to go and do this, no matter how unpleasant it may be. And so Ash kisses her fiercely, and they wind up fucking again.
Who's surprised? Who's surprised? Not us.
Because, I mean, like, hell yeah, Colas can wait for them to get it in. Fuck him.
Yeah.
And Sera promises Ash that whatever Colas says, she won't let it leave a mark. The Ancient returns, and there is a point when they're fucking that you can hear the Ancient and Nyktos outside, and you hear him, Aiden, he's just like, if they're in there doing what I think they're doing, and Nyktos is like, you're gonna want to shut up now. It's so funny that he's out there. It's so good. So the Ancient returns and takes Sera through another portal to Delos. As they arrive, Aiden says he wants to speak with her before they proceed. And he warns Sera that if war breaks out among the primals, it will cause an imbalance large enough to lead to the awakening of the Ancients. There's a series of small steps, like ones that have been taken before. For example, Colas betraying Ethos, Sera taking blood from Ash, and so on. Aiden tells Sera to trust her instincts. Italics her. He says, preventing this war was a thread not seen, but neither were you originally. You are what has been snipping those threads, ending some and weaving new ones. Trust your instincts, for if what comes from this meeting is war, it will not end, not until there is blood and bone. So Sera is the TVA of Flesh and Fire. For anyone that has ever watched Loki, Sera is the TVA, and she is out there snipping timelines left and right and creating new ones on her own. And I also think it's interesting that he says, trust your instincts, for if what comes from this meeting is war, it will not end until there is blood and bone. Like a primal of blood and bone? The title of the next book?
I know the amount of times that phrase is mentioned throughout this book. I'm like, okay, I know, we get it.
We get it.
But what the
yeah.
book comes out next month?
Yeah. Oh, that's what we need to do a countdown for.
We do.
Next episode, everybody. We're getting a countdown for the next book.
Yeah, because like we almost forgot.
It's August now. Oh my god. Chapter 18. They shadow step into the court of Core Palace, and Sera gets nauseous while they wait to be allowed in. A move by Colas to make it clear that she's not his equal. So like they have to wait there to get let into the palace. Sera senses another primal arriving, only because like, and she realizes that it's only Ash that wasn't allowed to be here. So it's like one of those tricky fairy deals, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got to be real specific. So she lets herself in, seeing all of the gods streaked, or seeing all of the gold and plated. She lets herself in, seeing all of the gold streaked and plated items, and comments on how tacky it all looks. I'm just like, much like a certain man living in a White House that's plastering gold all over one of the most famous and important rooms in all of history.
Yeah.
In the US, actually. Not history, in the US. But, you know, disgusting. Callum meets them and then leads them the rest of the way. He really is as evil as they come to. Like, Callum is claiming to care about his sister, Sotoria, but Sera rightly points out that, like, so you'd be fine with your sister being treated as I was when I was captive. You're cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, being so exposed in the way that she was as well. And he says she doesn't understand, but we know how that goes. Sera tells him what's what, and it's so good. Do you want to read this one?
It is. I would love to.
Yeah.
It wasn't your fault, you know? What happened to Sotoria was Colas's fault and his alone. I wish you knew that. You likely would have led a normal life and passed on to the Veil. But everything done to her beyond that, you're just as complicit, and she feels the same as I do when it comes to you. She feels sorry for you, but she really fucking hates you.
It's so good. It's
so
good.
It's so good.
She asks Aiden if the rule about not harming any primals applies to everyone. It does not. So she grabs Callum's dagger and stabs it up through his jaw, killing him. And also, I understand why she wanted to ask for clarification. However, Callum is not a primal, so of course he was fair game.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a nice little question answer. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
It was really good. It's clear that the ancients are not fans of the revenants. While they've kept the balance, they are a mockery of life, simply reanimated flesh and bone. The Ascended are only a slight improvement where they have souls. So Aiden tries to say that Ash and Colas aren't so different. Really now. He did almost destroy the realms for Sera, as Colas would for Sotoria. But, Sera clarifies, Colas has an obsession, it's one-sided, very different from her and Ash, which is true. They come up on some curtains with muffled moans coming from behind them. Sera enters, and what do you know, there's an orgy. One of the participants is Jove, who is the man that Colas had ascended when she was being held there. And Sera puts it together that for him to being in control already meant that he must have connection to his soul, and part of themselves remained. So he had some kind of control. He wasn't like this, like a bloodlust hungry state like they should be. So Kin's voice is heard saying, Mea Porna. Of course, that's Porna, really? Okay. Which translates to my whore. And orders Sera to her knees. And she's like, yeah, right? And Sera literally says, make me. Awesome. The Draken Diavel enters with Callum, once again breathing, and another Draken named Sax, who we have heard of. Kin starts mouthing off to Sera, and as she turns her back on him, he goes to hit her, and when she turns around on him, he grabs her arm. She's about to fuck the rules and attack with Ether, but Aiden disappears Kin. He just disappears him.
Yep.
And he says, I put him in a timeout. And at this moment, I'm like, okay, so do we like Aiden? Because I'm really liking Aiden.
Right. We could have used you a while ago, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm like, okay, the ancients aren't so bad, right? He's kind of chill. Then Colas arrives under his false titles. Everyone besides the ancient and Sera bows, and she notices he isn't as polished and looks weakened. Colas doesn't confirm or deny that he doesn't want war and mentions Sera looks like Sotoria, and he can see parts of her in Sera. He guesses what Ethos did with Sotoria's soul and knows they have the Star Diamond. So, that's where they placed her. Within a few sentences, he has fucked their entire plan. He is just, oh yeah, so XYZ, that's what you got going on, right? Yeah. And she's just like, no. So then we say, fuck. Almost like it was predictable. Almost like it's easier to just transfer his embers and kill him, but whatever. He brought her there to make a deal. Chapter 19. Colas says that he won't punish her or Ash for manipulating him, attacking him, etc., because gods forbid Colas take accountability for anything, as we've said time and time again. Instead, those who conspired with them will be punished. He will allow her and Ash to live and keep the balance, but he will rule as primal of death and king. He also wants the star, bringing him Sotoria, and there will be no war. So I'm like, they don't win in that scenario whatsoever. Yeah, they get to live, but on what term? Like, no.
He still just wants Sotoria.
Yeah. So Colas is offered a deal. Now Sera must offer him one. Her offer is Colas keeps Delos and remains the primal of death, but will not rule or have authority, and renouncing the throne. Colas gets in Sera's face and tells her he was gentle with her, considerate, and even pleasing. Ew! His presence and memory send Sera into a PTSD spiral, understandably, but Aiden helps to snap her back to the present. And he says, the true primal of death can root out one's trauma and what they fear, sending them back to that moment. So he is literally using his own powers to root up all of the shit he put her through again. So it's like, oh, he says all these things about like how, oh, I was pleasing to you. I was this, I was that. However, I know you didn't like it, so I'm going to use that back on you anyway.
Because, like, let's also keep in mind, this timeline is not very long that she's been out of his captivity, right?
Maybe
like,
a week?
Exactly. Like, we got to keep that in mind when reading these books. That
2 weeks, because I got to figure she had to turn and she was in stasis.
So
and then
under 30
so
days.
Weeks.
Under
within
30 days. Not even a month. And she's already back in the face of her abuser.
Mm-hmm.
That is another level of fucking trauma.
Oh, yeah. That's insane. Yeah, it's awful. Sera looks to Colas and says he disgusts her, just as he disgusted Sotoria. Then he vanishes. They both now have time to accept or deny each other's offer. Callum reappears, telling her she should have accepted his offer, and she tells him Sotoria doesn't belong to anyone, then stabs him in the head, killing him for the second time. Aiden tells her that Colas was not always like he is now, as we know. He was once fair and gentle, but was feared while ethos was welcomed. He says, he is the true primal of death, and mortals have never been able to come to terms with the knowledge that everything that begins must end. A millennium of that changed him. While many others are unable to see that, you have been able to. Anything he has ever wanted or needed has been kept from him or eventually taken away. Boo fucking who? It's sad, and I understand they're trying to make Colas tragic and he's got a background. I'm not just a bitch. I'm a bitch with a
Bitch with a
backstory, you
backstory.
know? So yeah. I just like it made him sound like a child in that instance. It's like anything he ever wanted or needed was like taken from him or like kept from him. And it's like that is a very sad existence. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like he did anything to help that either. You know? So they have a month, just about a month, to accept or reject each other's deals.
It's great.
So chapter 20. Aiden returns Sera to the Shadowlands, and Ash is there immediately, making sure she's okay. Sera debriefs Ash, Nyktos, and Rain about the meeting and Colas' offer, and that he knows about the star. She fills them in on the offer she made to counter, which they aren't super psyched about, but literally what other option was there? It's not like she could have prepared whatsoever. So she picks apart Colas' actions and deciphers that he didn't like Sera using the ether as it was a show of power. That meant he wasn't the true primal of life and could be challenged. So that's kind of the root of that. They have a month, the clock is ticking, and they can still continue to prepare as planned. Sera can sense that Ash isn't all too happy about the deal Sera offered because it lets Colas live, but he isn't saying if he's truly like disappointed or not. So Sera starts to get like, anxious about that and a little like nervous.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I'm just like, obviously different reasons, different backgrounds as to why they make those choices, but it's a very interesting parallel about like how frustrating it is when a partner is keeping things from you.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, Sera, you get it. You get this. Come on, you're smart. You're smarter than this. So once again, when they're alone, Ash asks Sera to talk to her, and he confirms that he isn't mad or disappointed at the deal that she offered. He's frustrated at Colas, himself, the whole situation, understandably. They both agree they will not accept his deal, but also think on if Colas will honestly, abide by the rules of their deal if he accepts. Ash says it's almost like Sera trusts Colas or is giving him undeserved credit by thinking he doesn't want war, even though Colas has only shown otherwise in his cruelty. He says the Colas I know, would choose to see the realms burn before he relinquished control, and we should prepare for that. And that's where we're gonna end part 1.
We fucking did it.
We made it. Our longest episode yet with the fewest amount of chapters. Thinking back, I'm like, yeah, we usually cover more chapters than this, but oh well.
This is fucking mine. It's fine.
But yeah, it's what a part 1. So yeah, fan art, I guess. Let me turn my monitor on for fan art. So our first piece of fan art comes from at Chrysanthemum, if I say that right. And this is Ash kneeling before Sera. We got poppies that are kind of scattered around them there, and
it's very good.
It's very good. I love the way that the light is working on them and like highlighting. The highlighting is so good. I love that art's very, very nice. The next piece of art we have is from avery.finds.and.draws.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a really cool doodle-esque kind of style, but it's like Sera, she's very voluptuous as we love her. She got the dagger strapped to her thigh. I imagine coming out of her hand is like the ether and like halo. I love it.
Very good.
She's so badass. And the third piece is going to be by at Bookish Avery. And I really like this one too. It's very
too.
like stylized of Sera, looking very peaceful, but she's got her dagger because she's a baddie like that. But yeah, just like super pretty, and I love the vining and things. It was just...
And the color palette too is really good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Very much enjoying that as well. So that's our fan art. So
there's like no fan art of Born of Blood and Ash, everyone. There's like none.
Yeah, no, we're really digging for these at this point.
Yeah.
So if you have any that, you know, you have not seen us bring up or anything, definitely shoot it our way. I'm pretty sure
tag
any
the
and
artist,
all of you
comment the artist, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot it over to us. We want to check it out and we want to showcase. So, well, did you believe us when we said this book was like a lot of exposition? Born of Blood and Ash so far appears to be a war book mixed with an ongoing character study kind of deal of Sera while she lives with her PTSD and kind of gains her footing as primal of life and queen. There's a lot going on. We're certainly building to something. We know what's coming in the far future, but as far as the near future, it's anyone's guess. Will that something be satisfying? I hope our faces didn't spoil it. And literally every word that's come out of our mouth the last 3 hours.
Just gonna look away.
Yeah, I'm bashful. So yeah, this will be a 3-parter. So next week we're going to be covering chapters 21 to 42. Then the week after that, we will finish up the book. And that's going to be our wrap up of our first ever series.
And quite an undertaking.
Literally, what a journey it has been. And like, don't worry, we'll have a proper like ending prepped.
Yeah,
like, don't you worry.
We'll have a good wrap up. We have stuff in the works of planning and a couple other things to give this universe the full ending it deserves, and planning on when we're gonna bring Primal of Blood and Bone to the table. So. Yeah. It's gonna be a minute.
It will.
It's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, we've just got so much that we want to schedule out, and so much we want to read, and so much we want to watch, and how are we gonna do it all? And oh my god, because
we have October coming up.
Because like honestly, Halloween in October is taking precedence.
It's like our fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hell yeah, it is. So yeah, don't you worry, we will have it coming at you. So thanks for hanging in there with us as we begin our steady downhill speed towards the ultimate crash out. So hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Megan.
And I'm Rachel.
And thanks for watching Blood, Books, and Binge Watching.